Great. Greetings from Tokyo, everyone. This is Daisuke, and sorry for being a little bit late. Just having some fixing a couple technical issues, but I hope you can understand. And we will begin momentarily with a discussion in live stream format of the film Jaws: The Revenge. So just hold on for one moment while we get settled in, and we will go from there. So Jaws: The Revenge from 1987, directed by Joseph Sargent. So I hope all is well. Is the sound okay from where you were sitting? I hope it is. Jared is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Zyrother's here. Hello. My one word review for this film is perplexing. We will get to that, not a problem. Yes. Great, thank you so much. Thank you for checking the sound. Thank you. Yeah, so again, we'll begin in about a minute. So just hold on. Jaws: The Revenge. So much I want to talk about with regard to this film, Jaws: The Revenge. So looking forward to this immensely. So, and Zyrother, I know you said that you were watching it was this film and then Jaws 3. Excuse me, Jaws 3 as well. Pardon me, excuse me. You were watching those for the first time, I think you had mentioned before. So, Jaws 4, first time watch. Jaws 4, Jaws: The Revenge. Thank you so much. W Forge is here. Hello. It's nice to see you. Jared says, Jaws: The Revenge was marketed as the conclusion to the Jaws trilogy by Universal, so to them, Jaws 3D doesn't exist in the timeline of the franchise, and Jaws: The Revenge is then the third film. Yes. Matt Flaherty's here. Hello. I'm happy to be here again. I'm looking forward to your discussion. Well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you, Matt. Sam is here. Hello, Sam. Favorite Jaws sequel? Not sure. It goes back and forth, although it might be Jaws 2. I really like Jaws 2, although as I've mentioned before, I'm very enthusiastic about Jaws 3 and Jaws 3D, and I will try to express how it is I feel about this film, Jaws: The Revenge, today. Samuel is here. Hello. Eric Pieper is here. Hello. I loved your comment, by the way, Eric. This time it's personal. So yes, this time it is indeed personal, or it is perceived as personal. I mean, we'll talk about that the personal element of this film that is at play here. And we'll go. Yes, we will go from there. Let's see. Zarathur says, since I did miss the discussion last week, quick aside, I really did enjoy Jaws 3. Way more fun than I anticipated. Oh, that's good. Thank you for letting me know. Yes. Don Kelly, hello, Daisuke, all. Jaws: The Revenge, awesome. Yes, thank you so much. Eric says, even though sharks don't take things personally. Yes, I think that is a quote from Jaws 2. Yes. Complete with Roy Scheider looking out seriously into the distance. Yes, so we do get a little bit of Roy Scheider in this film as well, with a giant picture, by the way, on the wall. So, but anyway, let us begin. Yes, let us begin with the film discussion. So, or before that, just preliminaries. So, greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and welcome to the live stream discussion on this film, Jaws: The Revenge. I am from 1987, directed by Joseph Sargent, starring Lauren Gary, Lance Guest, Mario Van Peebles, and others. And so I'm looking forward to this immensely, and I will try to convey in the best way that I can. I'll try to convey just how it is I feel about this film, and based on my experiences with it, watching it in the theater in the late 80s when it was initially released, being so excited when I first saw those trailers, and then going to the theater and experiencing it live with an audience. And so I'll try to also explain the audience reactions, because it was a really lively audience as well. So I will, and then of course, as the years passed, as how I've watched this film over and over and over again. And so I'll try to explain how it is I feel about it based on those experiences and others. And before we get into any specifics, though, let me talk about the preliminary aspects of this discussion, just in case you are new to this channel or you are new to the live stream format here, the way I like to try to handle it or try to use it here. I'd like to just say to everyone that, well, first of all, we will be talking specifically about Jaws the Revenge. So, uh, I don't want to spoil any of the surprises that will certainly await you if you are yet to watch Jaws the Revenge. So if you have not seen Jaws the Revenge, I strongly encourage that you turn off this live stream right now, because I will be speaking about spoilers of this. And so you can turn it off, the live chat or live stream, and then you can watch the film in your schedule, in your convenient time. And then, if you are still interested in what it is I might have to say, you can always come back to the channel, because this will I'll be talking for a few hours today, a couple hours today, and then and if you can't make it, then of course this will be uploaded later after the fact as a as a viewable video. So please feel free to stop by anytime you're interested. So I'd always look forward to checking out what it is you have to say. Maybe you want to leave behind your reaction in a comment or something. I'd love to read it, or a review or something. I'd love to read it and get a chance to hear what it is you have to think and say. Your perspective and reactions to Jaws the Revenge. A very interesting film, is it not? So that's one thing. The second thing is, of course, yes. So the second thing is, of course, I am not coming to this as as an academic scholar or any type of expert, a behind the scenes expert regarding this film. So I don't know everything about this film. So I'm approaching this as a casual viewer, as a fan, and someone who has seen this film a number of times. Excuse me. So I am just going to approach it from that perspective. So I won't have anything profound to say. I won't know everything. I won't know all the details, but I will again speak from my own personal experience. And so if you have anything you want to add or say in the live chat, you can always do so. If there are any questions that you have for me of a Jaws the Revenge related nature that I am unable to address, please, I apologize very profusely in advance for not being able to answer everything. Again, I'm not an expert, but I will say, I am a fan of this film. So there's that. Also, the live chat is open for everyone who wants to share, talk with each other. If you want to talk to me, that's also very welcome. And I'm so honored to be able to talk to you in this live, real-time fashion, as it were. So, but I will try to address everyone. But if I skip over your comment, or if I skip over your name, please, I don't want to cause any offense. No offense is meant in any way whatsoever. Just maybe I accidentally skipped over it, or I just my increasingly failing eyes, maybe have just not read it or haven't caught it, or whatever. So nothing of ill will is meant on my part. It's just my own very innocently made mistake. But I hope you can forgive me if I do skip over anything you have to say, or your name, etc. I really apologize for that. I will try my best to keep up. Although I should say too that if there are any comments or questions directed to me that are not related to Jaws or Jaws the Revenge, I might just skip over them, just for the purpose of me wanting to focus on my energies today on Jaws the Revenge. But if you do want to follow up with that question or comment to me, you can always leave it behind in a video comment section, and I will be very happy to do my best to address what it is you have to say. So you can always leave behind a comment here, or I'm not here, but you can leave behind a comment in any other video that I have on this channel, and I always am able to check them. So please feel free to do it that way. Let's see. Oh yes, and also the chat is of course open to everyone, and people who like this film, please feel free to leave a comment. If you are so-so about this film, leave a comment. If you really hate this film, please leave a comment. That's everything is welcome. So you can I think debate and disagreement about films is very valid and very important. So that is something that I not only welcome but I cherish, because it means that you are able to speak, and you are able to speak freely. And so I'm always very willing and happy to hear anything that you have to say or think or feel about this or any film. And also at the same time, I know and I believe and I am very much depending on you, my dear friends, because I know you have always helped me before, and that you will continue to do so, is where you will express your views. You will always also do it in a way that respects others, and that is of a type of mutual respect. And you have always shown me with your kindness and courtesy and respect when we have discussed and debated films. So I will be relying on you as always, ever. And I will be counting on you and relying on you for your continued support and your continued showing of mutual respect towards others, because you have always done so for me in the past, and I know you'll continue to do so for me in the future. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for continuing to do that, my dear friends. So I think we are ready to go. So let's see here. Before I move on, let me just, excuse me, let me move to the chat and go. Oh, yes, finally, yes, this will be, I think, the last live stream discussion, at least in the Jaws film series. I don't know when the next one will be specifically scheduled, but we will be talking. I'll try to mention a little bit about my plans in the future going going forward with the live streams here. So, but this will be, it's now the beginning of May for me here, May 1st today in Tokyo, Japan. Wow, wow, time flies. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. May. Oh my goodness. My birthday is in May. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna become a year older. Oh no. Oh no, I guess I'm already older. It's just now, it's just, I'm whatever, a year minus that number of days anyway. So I guess it's technically, I'm already feeling quote unquote, I'm feeling the age, I suppose, but it's just having the birthday will just be more, I should be more positive about it. So yes. May is my birthday month, and I know it's a birthday month for a number of other people who are here. So yes, but my point is time flies. Time certainly flies. Does it not? So let's see. W. Ford says, I saw Jaws 3D in the theater. I was not impressed. But then you said, I enjoyed the discussion about Jaws 3D. So thank you so much, W. Ford. Thank you. Zyroth, can't believe all that voodoo stuff. Yes. Jared said, if anyone wants to make more sense of the film, read the book. Yes. Yes, good point. Erwin says, hey guys, hope you are all doing great. I'm in a hotel now and just came back from a concert and some drinks, so I will check out this discussion on a later date because I'm pretty tired. No problem, Erwin, my dear friend. I hope you enjoyed that concert, and well done. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Zyrother says, maybe we can theorize on the story of Hoagie flying 100 nuns to Nairobi. Yes, Zyrother, let me speak about that before I forget. I have a theory that Hoagie is actually Alfred, and Alfred in the Dark Knight series. And so I was just waiting for Hoagie to talk to Ellen, saying something. I can't do a Michael Caine, but I was just waiting for him to say, this reminds me of when I was chasing bandits and they were dropping jewels and I picked one up. It was the size of a tangerine. I was waiting for him to say tangerine or something, but for those of you who know The Dark Knight, but oh well, yes, yes. So Michael Caine in Jaws 4, Hoagie. Well, yes, one of the most memorable characters, I think. Hoagie. We'll talk about Hoagie. Yes. Oh, and Arwen says, all I will say for now is that this is my favorite Jaws sequel. Yes, really, mostly for nostalgic reasons, but I also enjoy this film immensely despite all its flaws. Let's see. It's just growing. Samuel says, now I really feel bad for not rewatching Jaws the Revenge, even though I have seen it in the last 10 years. Let's see. Oh, W. Ford's Jaws the Revenge features one of the best Siskel Ebert reviews. Yes, I recall watching that actually in when it was broadcast or something. It wasn't a repeat, or maybe it were, but I was watching Siskel and Ebert's show, back in the day. Yes, and I remember Ebert's. I haven't seen it recently, but I remember Ebert's comment about Michael Caine's clothes when Michael Caine's character is swimming in the water and he gets out and onto the boat, and his clothes are dry. And he was making such a point as a point of criticism about how can his clothes be dry? Well, just a second ago he was in the water, and now his clothes are dry. What's going on? I'm paraphrasing, of course, but yes, yes, yes. So, um, oh, the breath of that thing. Yes. Oh, no. Let's go home, Ellen Brody. Yes. Yes. Sam says, who directed Jaws the Revenge? Joseph Sargent. Yes. Um, it's just. Yes, Sarah says, wow, the book sounds even more perplexing. Eric Pieper says, the film was incredibly rushed. From blank page to finished film, it was made in about 10 months. All right, let's see here. Okay. Just scrolling down here. I am the Ice Lord says, hey there, Daisuke. I'm glad I made it this time. Oh, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Mike is here, our dear friend. Thank you. I've been really looking forward to the grand finale. Thank you, thank you. W. Forge says, this film is a guilty pleasure. Sam says, I've actually never seen anything past 2. I was incredibly disappointed with the sequel, but perhaps it just wasn't what I was expecting. Very interested in revisiting the series. Oh, yes, yes, I hope that you enjoy, and that's not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. We we may enjoy the sequels. We may not enjoy the sequels, of course, but that doesn't, of course, take away anything of our enjoyment and thrill and excitement that we have when we watch the first film, right? So, anyway, thank you so much for that, Sam. Well done. Dawn says, love the name Hoagie for a character. Reminds me of a Philly steak and cheese. Oh, wow. Let's see. Jared says, best parts of the film, Michael Caine and Roy Scheider being brought back with archive footage from the first film. Yes, as well as a huge picture on the wall of the Amity police station, right? Huge picture, by the way. It's not just like a little thing. It's huge, you know. And the I guess it's the woman, the secretary who works there, who's also named Polly. By the way, it's either someone else who's named Polly, or it's the same person who is Polly in, say, the first film. If that's the case, that is incredible in terms of continuity. Or it means that maybe one of the requirements for that particular job, the job description, we need someone to handle secretarial and filing and day-to-day communications in the Amity Police Department. Qualifications: must know how to file, have good communication skills, and must be named Polly. Maybe that's the thing. So everyone needs to be named Polly, or maybe not. I don't know. Sam says, happy birthday, Dice. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Yes. W. Forge, best parts of the film, Ellen Brody experiencing flashbacks. Yes, to events she did not witness. Yes, yes, yes. I have a little bit of a maybe I have some maybe leeway that I think we can give to the character in the particular moment. So it is. It's maybe we can look at it as they are probably flashbacks that she's experiencing, as you say, but also it's meant, I think, as a type of summation in cinematic form. So I can kind of, it kind of gets away with it for me anyway, so not a problem. Um, yes, let's see. Scott is here. Oh, Scott, hello, happy birthday. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you. Again, specifically, my birthday is not May 1st, but it's May 21st, so in 20 days from now. But it is my birthday month. Yes. So if I were to go to, Disney World or something, I'd be able to put one of those big stickers on my shirt. Those stickers that I put on my shirt, but then that fall off like a few seconds later. Or that begin to curl on the sides. So you have to keep patting it to make sure it sticks down again. And so yeah, so then all the people in the park would say, "Oh, happy birthday," or something. So yeah, at least they have that in the Disney theme parks here in Japan. Faith and Misery is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Let's see. Okay, and um, Shempy Dent. Hello, Shempy Dent. And you say, so funny towards the end of the film on Jaws the Revenge, the roar the shark makes is the same audio the monsters PetSpot makes from the 60s series. Oh, so you're talking about the roar at the end when they're doing the whole electric shock thing with flashing lights. Yes. And it just flies out of the water. Yes, yes. Um, I love how compared with the other sharks, how seemingly it feels so slow, how it swims. It's really great. Um, let's see. Oh, talking about Michael Caine. Yes, Jared Wiggle says. Talking about he wasn't able to get his Academy Award for Hannah and Her Sisters, but he was able to get paid vacation to the Bahamas, build a house for his mom, and won an Oscar. Not bad for a flop. Samuel says Melvin Van Peebles, and yes, that's right, Mario Van Peebles, and also Melvin Van Peebles. He's I think he's described as the commissioner, and he is giving the speech on the beach to commemorate, I think, the dedication or the opening ceremony of the artwork. Um, this is Carla Brody's artwork, which is like tourist on the beach or something, which is like tourist on the beach. Or what was the exact title of the artwork? I forget. It was tourist on the something, but tourist, and it was tourist on the beach with maybe this sort of modern art sculpture, metal sculpture that looks like a heart, but it actually looks like the mouth of a shark. So, tourist on the beach and with the mouth of a shark or something that looks like a mouth of a shark. It's really well done actually, and painted red too. Wow, wow, amazing. Let's see. So, um, and Laney Lane is here. It's you say, unfortunately, I didn't have time to rewatch the film this week, but look forward to your take. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now, my dear friends, let us just begin. So I want to start my approach to this by explaining my initial introduction and exposure to this film, Jaws the Revenge. So again, this was released in 1987. So um, I saw this in the theater when it was released, and it was I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't a fully packed audience, but it was fairly packed. I saw it with my mom. My mom took me, and my dad might have been there as well. I forget, but no, it's been many many years ago since I saw it. So in the theater, I mean. So I remember seeing the very enigmatic, I guess you'd call it now, teaser trailer, and it was just the shot of like it was a shot in the at the this died, it's personal, that this died, it's personal, so that thing, and it had the jaws, this font, in red, um, Jaws the Revenge. So very exciting. So it's very exciting. Wow, Jaws the Revenge. Wow. And this is the time where you had the early 80s, which was Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D. And by this time, I was just watching those films on VHS tape incessantly. It was just relentless on my part, just watching those films over and over and over again. So Jaws 2, and Jaws 3D. So to see this trailer this teaser trailer for Jaws: The Revenge. This was amazing to me, absolutely amazing. And so I was so excited, and I was, Ma, you gotta take me, gotta go watch Jaws: The Revenge, Jaws: The Revenge, Jaws 4. So yes, yes. So I was that thrilled, that excited. So my mom took me to see it in the theater, and the theater, as I say, there were a number of people there, so it wasn't an empty theater. So very, very exciting stuff. And then the film began, and the film began with um, some shots and some, and again, when before I go in, I should say I had no idea what the film was going to be about. I know Jared and others mentioned that this probably was and even is regarded generally as being part of what Jared calls a trilogy: Jaws, Jaws 2, and Jaws 4. Thus, it seems to be either retconning or completely skipping over Jaws 3D. And in a sense, I kind of get that, but I didn't. But also at the same time, I do recognize the kind of continuity. I do see Jaws 3 as part of the universe, although maybe somewhat more distant than others. But I will speak about that a little bit later. In any event, I had no idea about what this might mean for the rest of the series, or something like that. I didn't know. I just went in and saw it, and it was I must say it was it was really a fun time. It was very fun. The theater crowd was so, excuse me, was excuse me, pardon me. The theater crowd was so enthusiastic, and it was laughing and cheering and crying. There were some cheers. There were some genuine cheers in the crowd too, and there were some genuine thrills and scares for me as well. I will say that the opening, say 5 or 10 minutes of the film, because knowing the Jaws films, I knew Amity, I knew Sean, and Sean Brody now in Christmas, and Sean Brody is going to get married, and there's Ellen Brody. Oh, I know these characters, and I know Amity. I know this feel. It was, and everything felt a little bit too. It was the same, but there was also a type of maybe upgrade feel to it. You know, the house was different, a little bit bigger than what we saw in Jaws or Jaws 2, or the Brody house. I mean, and Sean is of course different, older. You know, Mitchell Anderson, I think the actor's name is, and he is now working as the police officer, and I think he's mentioned as Deputy Brody. So, oh wow, there's continuity there, and there's the relationship between mom and son, and then the telephone call from Thea, and the other voice on the other line, which you understand is Michael. You know, oh, how's I'm 5 years old. I can use the telephone by myself now. You know, I took swimming lessons. So Thea is introduced, and so they're in the Bahamas is mentioned, I think, by Sean, in some very interestingly timed background information reveal. But the point, and then Polly, and then the nighttime, and Christmas, and there's a great, so anyway, so all this stuff is going in nighttime and the like. So all of it was, this was, oh, we're back in this type of feel. This feels like it is part of that Jaws 2 world. And the excuse me, excuse me, sorry, I have a slight soreness in my throat today, so maybe my voice is not so good, so I might feel there might be some irritants in my throat or my nasal area. So I apologize if I'm constantly going to my tissue box or to my handkerchief. I apologize, but what was I saying? So yes, so all this felt like it was, oh, this feels new, and then boom, like everyone's, oh my gosh. So that scene with Sean in the water at night with the piece of, as Michael says, it was a piece of wood. It was right. So with that large piece of wood, and then suddenly the red, this, and then the arm, and he's screaming, "Ah, my God!" And then the yellow, I guess it was the yellow raincoat, and the blood, the yellow, the bright yellow, and the bright red, and he's screaming, "Ah!" And then the people, Christmas carolers, like, "No, no, no, ah, no, 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 ah!" help! Oh my gosh! And then the ship is the boat is sinking. Excuse me. And then everyone, and then the dead body. Oh, here here. Let me open the let me open the body bag so you can reveal the remains of your son. Here, I thought you might want his guns. This guy gives to Ellen Brody, and then this was one of the scariest things I'd seen. On to this day, and I watched this film again recently, actually last night, actually in preparation for this last night, and every time I see this film, I've seen this film since, I get so nervous. I get so nervous. I don't know. My heart rate just increases uncontrollably because I am anticipating the trauma that I'm reliving the trauma that I had in that theater back in the 80s when I saw that. It scared the living daylights out of me, really did, and it still does. So whenever I watch this film, I always feel like, okay, I have to get through the first 10 minutes. And then when I get through the first 10 minutes after that, really, in my view, horrible, that's really scary scene, very effective, then I go on with the rest of the film. And so I kind of ease into it and relax. But for those first 10 minutes, I am on edge. And that is because I was scared, so scared when I saw that as a kid in the theater. And then going forward with the other bits of the story, and then Carla and Michael and Thea come to visit, and we see some of the people that are now still friends in the Amity Island community, including Mrs. Kintner, by the way, who's there, who's now, we assume, a family friend of Ellen Brody, as well as that lady. You know, Ellen, you're never an Islander, Ellen. You're not born here. You're never an Islander. So I think she's also there as well. And then Polly is there, and then we have turning our attentions to the Bahamas, and Hoagie and Jake and the tagging of the conches, or the conch tagging that leads to the discovery of the shark, and then the shark coming, the idea of the paranoia of maybe it's this shark that's hunting down, causing revenge against the Brody family. But which I actually, that whole thing about the revenge tale, I actually whenever I watch this film, that's part of the background. That for me was never anything that I took in terms of any directness of the plot. I always look at it as a shark movie. Maybe there's some revenge, or maybe that's the hysteria that is being thrust upon the shark attacks by virtue of Ellen Brody and company. But I never saw it in that way when I saw the film. So I don't look at it in those terms. Although I do know that, right, the film is called Jaws the Revenge. So, you know, it is there. But my point is that I think that is that's I can look at that as being maybe one of the weakest parts of the films, or I can look at that not at all, or I can look at it as part of the fun of the film. Um, in other words, I wasn't focusing on that component as much as I was just focusing on what I was seeing, the spectacle that was before me as I was watching it, and it was thrilling. It was really thrilling as a kid, and to have the character of Jake, which I adored, Hoagie, which I adored, to see Michael and Sean in this way, which I also adored, and to see the continuity with the earlier films, which I adored. I love Jaws 3, by the way. I do. I really love Jaws 3. But then it felt like a different part. It felt like a different take on the Jaws universe. It felt like a return home in many scenes. And indeed, the first 10 or 15 minutes where they're in Amity, these are really powerful. They're really powerful and really well done, I think, and not just the continuity with the Amity sequences in the earlier films, but also the dealings with grief and loss and pain, and they're handled so well. I mean, the scene with Ellen on the beach alone, looking out when Michael and his family arrive, and Michael goes out alone to see his mom, and they embrace. That's a really powerful moment. Also, when they're at Sean's funeral, people are crying, like his fiance is crying, but Ellen is laughing. She is reliving a lovely memory that she recalls, between father and son. That is a kind of flashback from the first film. Um, and so that is right. The idea of grief and loss. It's always very personal. It's always very individual to that person as one relives the memories that one had with someone who is now no longer with us. So sometimes, and a lot of times, they can be very sad and very painful, and cause one to cry and to shed tears. Also, it can be reliving moments of happiness and laughter and joy, which is also very much part of the grieving process, the process of loss or coping with loss. And so that also is reflected in the scene with Ellen laughing, reliving those lovely memories that she had at the funeral. So this is also, I think, dealing with loss and grief in a very effective way. There's also, I should say too, when they decide to go to the Bahamas with Thea with that giant lollipop, by the way. Oh gosh, she was so lucky to have that giant lollipop. Wow, that was amazing. And um, then they decide, let's go to the Bahamas. Yes, yes, okay, let's go today. Oh, if we're in time, we can catch the 4:30 ferry. Or today, yes, of course, today. So they go on the ferry, and then they're cutting to the ferry, and Ellen is playing with her granddaughter and just laughing, laughing, and then she's walking away, and her laughter, it suddenly turns to uncontrollable crying and sobbing. That also is such a powerful moment of grieving and dealing with loss. I totally get that. I totally get that. We all maybe in our lives have dealt with grief or loss in some form or another. I certainly have, and based on my own experience, I can say too that I experienced these sudden shifts of maybe intense joy and laughter to suddenly feeling intense sadness and just uncontrollable crying. So that is a really powerful, powerful moment. So this was to say that that opening is just it's really great. It's really effective. It's done so well. It's put together so well, um, and it's great stuff. And then when we get to the Bahamas later, or not later, but then going there, we have different characters. It's a different. It feels different. We have the this is maybe the most right. It's the most un-Amity like area in terms of the locale. Although at the same time, in Jaws 2, for instance, Amity felt like this Florida beach type of experience, because I think of some of the shots that were shot, or some of the scenes that were shot in outside locations, etc. Florida beaches, not for everything, but for some shots, Florida beaches standing in for Amity beaches, etc. But so there is that type of continuity in terms of the beautiful sunshine and the weather, and then the beach, coastal, say, resort type of feel. So that's all here. So in that way, there is a type of continuity. But at the same time, we're supposed to understand too that this is a new environment, a warmer climate environment, maybe, and also Jake and Hoagie and others are introduced here, and then other aspects, the carnival festival, the junk canoe, which reminded me too of the James Bond movie Thunderball. There's also some underwater, like jet propulsion action in this film too, Jaws of Revenge, which is also very much reminiscent of Thunderball. Incidentally, too, Thunderball is, I think, the fourth film, right, in that Saltzman Broccoli Eon Productions film series of James Bond. So that this Jaws is the fourth film in the Jaws series, Jaws: The Revenge and Thunderball. But anyway, so we have those elements, and then the introduction, or the getting to know Thea and Carla, and then Jake and his side, and then the studying of the shells and the snails and the conch tagging, which leads to the discovery of the great white shark, which then leads to more of the idea of the paranoia, and then Hoagie, and then the attack on the beach, the banana boat scene. Wow, my goodness! And then the final confrontation between Ellen Brody and the shark. By the time we see the shark, it's this huge floating, like I don't know. It's almost it's like a cuddly doll kind of thing. It's you just want to, I don't know, pet it or kind of bring it home with you, and it looks like it's smiling all the time. You know, it's that kind of shark. So maybe when you get the underwater shark scenes, the reveal, to me maybe it slightly deflates a little bit of the horror and the shock that I had from the first 10 minutes, but it turns it into a almost a jubilant type of shark adventure story. So that makes it in that way for me all the more fun in that way. So I don't look at that as a negative. I look at that as a type of it's two movies for the price of one, that kind of feeling. And maybe I was feeling that in some form or another back in the day in the late in 80s when I saw it as a kid, but now watching it over and over again, that's how I feel. And let me just take a step back here and say one other thing, and I'll get to the chat, which is that theater experience too. When I saw it, it was so fun. So they were cheering. They were just they were oh no, like remember when Mike Brody, they've already discovered the sharks there in the Bahamas, but they want to keep it a secret and they want to study it and they're excited. Jake's excited. Mike is a little bit, oh, what's going on? Maybe what mom said is right here about the shark wanting to get at the Brody family. And then when Mike is underwater in the submersible and the shark attacks him and they go into the abandoned ship and he does that thing with the very clever, cool thing with the air tank and shoots out. Later, we realize at night he has been injured on his arm because it's bandaged and he wakes up in a sweat, right? Because he's just nervous. I remember when it was revealed that his arm was injured, people in the audience were, oh no, you know, uh, they were vocally expressing their shock and their surprise, and they were really feeling Mike's pain at that moment. So that's one example. The other example too is where Thea and Mike are at the table and it's doing the recreation of the Martin Brody, Sean Brody child mimicking the parent scene in Jaws, this time with Mike and Thea, and also with Ellen Brody watching over. And she says, do you remember when the two of you would just be imitating your father? And that's so reliving these memories, which is such a lovely callback, by the way. And I bring it up here too because when Mike does the thing on the table, he's like this, and he does the that part, and then Thea does the same thing. She's just like on the table. She says, you know, and everyone was just everyone was just laughing, and it was just a huge cheer. People were into that film. So it was such a lovely, heartwarming scene, and I the biggest cheer in the audience was so well, actually there was a loud cheer when the shark got it at the end, and you know, with the ramming, it was the ending with the ramming the pointed thing into the neck of the shark, and then everything fell, and then you saw the shot of the shark sinking with the whole thing stuck in the neck there, and it sunk and then fade out, and then it goes to the airplane, and that's it. No, what happened to Jake? He's probably dead, right? So that was the ending I saw in the theater, but that got a kind of applause. But what got an even bigger applause moment was Hoagie, when the plane lands, and she's saying, you know, all you passengers do is complain, oh, S word, and then the shark is just just kind of slowly eating the plane and it's just sinking the plane down. And then we get the shot of Michael and and Ellen say, why did you come? Why did you, because you shouldn't have taken the boat, Mom. Why did you bring Hoagie? You shouldn't have taken the boat. There's a moment when they're just, someone give me a hand here for great. And then we hear the back Hoagie coming out of the on the other side of the ship, and Ellen Brody's so relieved. Everyone was relieved. Everyone in there was cheering. Yes, everyone was cheering at that moment when Hoagie came back, and where it was revealed that he wasn't dead. So yes, let's go home, Ellen Brody. Oh yes, oh, the breath on that thing. Yes, so this is and I should say too that sometime later when I saw the film, whatever it was, on VHS or TV, whatever, and the ending was different than the one that I remember seeing in the theater, which is the theater ending. The theater experience I had was the ending where it just the thing gets in his neck, and it sinks, and that's it. Jake, we assume, would have unfortunately perished. Not so with the other ending that I saw the TV or video VHS version or whatever. I saw it and I was watching it, I was into it, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, this feels different. What's going on? Like, I don't remember the shark exploding, like boom. Just what is going on? Did that really happen? I don't remember that. But okay, the shark exploded, boom. Everyone's falling into the. I don't wait. This is new. And what? Oh, Jake, help! Can someone help me? I'm alive. I'm bleeding, but I'm alive. Someone help me. So it was, and then it looked like and it looked visibly like a kind of a Hollywood studio water tank, because you could see the background and the water hitting the wall that was painted like the sky. But anyway, and I could notice. I remember, oh, this looks like a pool. What did they do? And there's Jake. He's alive. Oh, that's great. I'm so happy to see that. He's bleeding, but I hope he looks like he doesn't look so good. But because he looks really injured. I sort of, but he's alive. I'm so happy. And the shark exploded. And what's going on? And that was one of the most exhilarating and confusing moments I had as a kid watching it, on VHS or TV, whatever, after the fact. Um, that was so, I mean, to borrow Zyrother's phrase, perplexing to me, but in a wonderful way. And maybe that began to open my eyes and my mind to the possibilities of alternate versions. Who knows? Maybe that was something that Jaws the Revenge, maybe that was something that helped me along on that part of my cinema journey, which is now, of course, a very key component to our journey, to my journey, various physical media releases, the various versions of a film that are available or not available, as the case may be, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe for me, that exposure to that type of possibility began, or maybe the earliest memories I have of it, maybe could be Jaws the Revenge, who knows? But in any case, yes, these are the some of the memories I have with Jaws the Revenge that have carried me throughout these years, all the way up to my most recent watching of this, earlier this week, including today. So, in that spirit, I'd like to go to the chat and see what's up here. Yes. So let's see. All right. Oh, so that's my way, guys, to say that. I enjoy the film. I enjoy the film. And I kind of get a, I kind of get, I get a kick out of it a lot, and I also enjoy watching or reading reviews that totally maybe just maybe they give it a very very maybe bad review. This is ludicrous or something. I understand that completely. I totally understand that. And I actually enjoy watching those. Like someone mentioned the Siskel and Ebert review. So, and as I say, I mentioned that I saw that actually when it was on TV, and so. But that's also maybe part of the appeal, part of the charm. But that came a little bit later for me. For me, it was watching the film first, and then watching it in the theater, and then later I saw the reactions, and that have occurred throughout the years, of course. But I think for me, a lot of the reason why, or part of the reason why I get a kick out of this film the way I do, is I had such a lovely time in the theater watching it. So, yeah, yeah. So, all right. Jared says Sean Brody's death was quite intense and actually very good in setting things in motion. It's long since we all know Sean at this point. Yes, yes, I agree. Sean is a kind of memorable character. We know him so well, and so to see him oft in this really bloody way was very traumatized, very terrifying for me. And it in that, as I say, that yellow coat, the primary colors yellow and red, as well as being on the water at night. This mysterious thing, and then the intercutting with his death scene and the carolers with the, I guess, Christmas pageant rehearsal. And so, um, there's a moment where you can hear the voice of maybe some conductor or the person in charge, as Sean is walking. Oh, hey, and I remember when I did this as a kid. He's walking towards the boat, and you can hear someone's just being angry. Oh gosh, where's Joseph in his coat? And he says, oh Jesus, and then you can hear someone on off screen says, oh, I'm here. So I just thought in my voice, oh, that's Jesus. Jesus Christ saying I'm here. So, all right, but I think the uh, the subtitles, the optional subtitles on this indicate the character named Joseph saying "I'm here." So I always thought it was that the other thing. But in fact, also there is. Well, anyway, never mind. I won't get into the credits anyway. So. Um, let's see. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes. So the death scene with Sean. Um, I don't want to get into too many details for anyone who hasn't seen or know the story of what's it, Stephen King's It. There's a novel, and there have also been a number of very effective adaptations of the story called It. If you know It, then there is a sequence involving something very similar in terms of like a raincoat and an attack. And sometimes even in those depictions, the raincoat is shown as being bright yellow, so yellow and red, and even all the way down to like an arm and stuff. So it's pretty intense stuff. So what I wonder, what I forget when it was published. What came first? Was it or was it Jaws the Revenge? But anyway, maybe it was around I forget exactly when it was published. So I do remember also the It miniseries, incidentally, with Tim Curry, and I saw that on the TV when it was initially broadcast. It was broadcast in two separate shows. I think it was separated by weeks. I recorded It Part One, and on VHS tape, and I watched it so many. Oh, it was so great watching it all the way that week. It was so intense, and then I was waiting with with anticipation. It Part Two when it was shown in the next week. But anyway, what was I bringing? So It and Sean's death in Jaws the Revenge, there's some similarities there. And I should say too, the intercutting, as I mentioned, with the carolers, the singing, I think that was the icing on the cake for me in terms of the creepy factor. It was really, really just eerie, so eerie. So Jared, as you say, yes, I agree. Um, Eric Pieper says they used to have the boat Neptune's Folly. So Neptune's Folly is the name of the boat that's used in the Bahamas at the end, what rams into the shark. Yes, um, and the police boat Sean was killed on at Universal Orlando. Really? Oh wow! Oh wow! I wish I could have seen those. Jared says it's cool to see more familiar faces, and Eric Pieper says Mario Van Peebles wrote much of his own dialogue. Is that true? I didn't know that. That's interesting. I thought he's really good. I liked how they have Jake and Michael have this like this sort of brotherly bond. They tend to kind of get into little arguments. My equipment doesn't fail. Is this your equipment that's just breaking down again? And Jake said, I never, it doesn't. You were away, and we had to go overtime, and then blah. They get into these arguments, but then they never. They always stop short, and then they stop, and then Jake says, "Yeah, I'm really sorry," and then he has a way of not just diffusing the situation, but then just being playful again. So I love that camaraderie between Jake and Michael. I think that's so warm and touching. And remember, there's that kind of running joke or conceit about how Jake is this. He is he is also an inventor of sorts. He can he's like like MacGyver or something. He can just put together something. He can put together a tracker that can just stick it into the shark there, and you can monitor the heartbeat. And he says, "Oh, why is your heartbeat stronger than my heartbeat? Hey, what's going on here?" I love that scene as well. And then the tagging, the conch tagging as well, and that's all Jake's putting stuff together. And there's this running joke about how Jake's equipment, is this your equipment breaking down again or something? Ha ha ha! And then when Jake gets eaten toward the end of the film, after he has shoved the electro charged thing into the mouth of the shark, to then now set up the idea of the flashing light bulb slash electrical charge thing. So that sets off the shark into a frenzy. That's the theory. And I remember at that moment where, you know, Michael says, and someone asking, is it going to work? And then and Michael says, yeah, if Jake says it's going to work, it's going to work. So that is a type of a resolution to that running joke. You know, Jake's equipment doesn't work. Haha, it's a joke. Even Michael jokes about it early in the film. But then when Jake is gone, and all they have left is what Jake has left behind as a final as a weapon to use against the shark. I love that bit where it's gonna work. If Jake says it's gonna work, it's gonna work. That's so great. That is so great. Yeah. But of course, then in whatever version you have, Jake then comes back, and actually, I love that moment where also it's you can feel the pain. You can feel the pain of Mike when it's everything is slow motion and Jake, he falls in, and then the shark, and then you can see what was it? I think before the underwater bit where you see Jake still struggling in the mouth of the shark, by the way, which is also a very scary moment for me. But then you have the slow motion scream of Mike, Jake. So wow, the Jake Mike relationship, and that is, of course, I think, so well enhanced and so well embodied, thanks in large part to the performance by Mario Van Peebles. So great, and then also incidentally, Melvin Van Peebles also makes an appearance in this film as well. So um, yeah. What and then there's like with Thea there in the middle, it's like, oh, here's, I'm gonna give you this shirt, Mike, as a birthday present, and like they're saying all this like sexual innuendo stuff, like, I hope this shirt is as busy as your sex life. I mean, he says that right in front of the kid. There's like, and they're like, oh, thank you very much. And then I guess Thea then totally deflates the joyous occasion by saying, right, did you like Uncle Sean? And it was like, Thea, don't mention Uncle Sean in this Christmas party. Don't do it. Oh, so, but, right. But, yeah. Oh, Thea. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes. Jared says it was nice to see that scene from Jaws back in this film where Sean mimicking his dad. Yes, that is a classic movie. Reviews and rankings with Robbie Sobel. Hello. You say, I know this movie gets a lot of hate, but I have nostalgia for it. Lance Guest is actually my favorite Mike Brody. I think he did a solid job. Yes, thank you so much. And I too look upon this film with such fondness. I do, and so thank you, Mike Brody. Yes, Lance Guest, another great actor. And so memorable and iconic in a lot of those '80s films, including for me one of my personal favorites is Halloween 2 from, what was it, '81. So yeah, that was what happens to his character. Oh wow, yes. But here too, great stuff. So thank you very much. Reviews and rankings with Robbie Sobel. Thank you. Uh, that's it. Eric continues. Early working titles for the movie were Jaws '87, Jaws: The Return. And Eric Peter said, I wish Tom Jones sang the title track for this film. Yes, making a Thunderball reference there. Yes, that was with the underwater sequences and, the silhouette of the women, the models swimming or something. Oh, And so he strikes like Jaws the Return, right? So he strikes da 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 like Jaws, or not Jaws. It's not the Return, but the Revenge, right? Jaws the Revenge, da 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 da. Jaws the Revenge. Yeah, that would have been so cool. Yeah, but although I should say I didn't mention it, but that title sequence is it's pretty effective. It has that kind of cool, distant feel to it. You don't. Yeah, I mean, I love Jaws 3D, but that, with the whole thing with you eat, oh, let's eat this fish and the fish head, and then the cloud of red ink behind him, which is right, and then so there's Jaws 3D and it has a type of but Jaws the Revenge, it had kind of the no nonsense, let's just get to it kind of feel to it, and the music too. Was it Michael Small? I like. We'll talk about the music later, but it had those cues from the original John Williams score with the not just the da da da, but also they had a new theme which is da 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 da, and then we'll get the little theme later in the film, especially when we go to the Bahamas. I think the theme is the Ellen Brody shark. Mind connection theme, I guess, which is dun 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 dun. So that's that dun 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 dun. Whenever there's an attack, Ellen Brody is able to sense it, even when she's in the middle of the carnival. She can sense it, but and but the music's great. But my point, and then what I love too about the Michael Small music, which I think you can get a sense of it maybe in the opening credits, but then you get it a lot later too, which is the return not just of the Jaws theme, which is of course the famous dun 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 dun. It's not used so much; it's used here and there, but that's not just that. But it's from the original Jaws film, which is the bit with like the orca in the film, and they see on the orca in the first film. Quint and Hooper and Brody see the shark for the first time. Da 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 da. Oh, that's a 20 for 25, 3 tons of them. Dun, dun, dun. So, and that music comes back. That da 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 da. That's so cool. That's such a cool phrase because I don't think we hear it in any of the other sequels. So that is so cool. And bravo to the musical choices in this film. But you get a little hint of that in the opening credits here. Jaws the Revenge. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's great, great. But it would have been also interesting to hear the possibility of maybe Tom Jones singing the title track to Jaws the Return, right? Wait. Maybe he's singing actually maybe if you think about the song Thunderball, the lyrics to the song Thunderball could be possibly interpreted to be talking about the shark, what is it? Any woman he wants, he'll get. Da 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 da. He will. No, without regret or something. His days of asking are all gone. Right. His fight goes on, and you think about it. Yeah, the Thunderball lyrics could apply to the shark in this film, but he thinks that the fight is worth it all. So he strikes like thunder, right? So it could be talking about the shark. Eric Pieper. Oh, well done. That's a very interesting suggestion. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Zyrother says, big toothy grin. Yes. The shark is smiling in this film. He's just smiling. I'm in the Bahamas now. I've been in these cold Christmas Amity waters and it's freezing. I want to have some fun times. I want to go to the Bahamas too, like Michael Caine, I want to have fun. So he's just smiling and all. So yeah. Yeah. All right. The shark only wanted a hug, says yes. Um, Scott Johansson is I'm going to get those Brodies if it's the last thing I do. I watch Gene, right? Yeah, Gene Siskel, quote Gene Siskel. Yes. Um, yeah. I gotta watch that Siskel and Ebert show again. Yeah. Um, there's also, there's also, there was also a review that they did about a film which is called um, Little Indian Big City, I think. And so it was, um, you know, what was it? It was Gene Siskel who said or Roger Ebert, I forget. It was here's a pick for the worst film of the year, any year, pick one or something like that. So that was a very memorable way of opening that. But anyway, what was I saying? So let's see. So just continuing on. Um, but Jaws: The Revenge. Yes, that's quite a film indeed. Quite a film indeed, or quite a film review indeed, I might say. Let's see here. What was I saying? Yes. 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 Thank you very much. Um, just scrolling down here. Jared says everything but the people out there blew up in the end. Yes. Yeah. And then Jared says, but at least the reshot ending has Jake survive, which is nice. And actually, there's a little bit of what's the phrase ADR, post-recorded dialogue. It's applied at the very end when Ellen's getting on the plane. You can hear the dialogue say, "Make sure you take care of Jake" or something like that. which I don't think was there in the original ending or the ending, not original. I don't know which is original actually. Which is the one that they shot? I don't know. The ending, whatever it is, the ending that I saw in the theater. Um, let's see. Gerald Lang is here. You say, hi, Daisuke, just joined in. Listen to your Criterion. Bruce Lee box set reviews. Well done. As a longtime Bruce Lee fan, I commend you on them. Thank you. Well, thank you. I saw your comment on one of the videos, the Bruce Lee videos that I saw. I haven't responded yet. I apologize, but thank you very much for that. Thank you. I will respond very soon. And Jared, you are a fan of the Bruce Lee films. Me too. Me too. Um, oh, gosh, yes, Bruce Lee. I know. Yes, I'm. I know. I said I wouldn't be speaking about anything but Jaws today, but let me just say, um, you know, right? Boards don't hit back. Right. So anyway, I hope you're well. Um, let's see. Yes, it. Thank you, Zyro. Through it was 1985. Thank you very much. So it was published first. Yes, Eric also follows up. Um, That's talking about any. E- Eric says any Brody he wants he gets. That's very clever, very clever. Yes. Let's see. Just scrolling down here. Um, so it's great also um, to see that huge picture on the wall in Amity's. I mentioned it before. That huge picture of Roy Scheider. Just so we are reminded of it. I just love a little bit too of Sean taking a little bit of the dinner, as it's being prepared. Don't little things. Although I never realized it until my recent watch. He's not taking, you always have this image in your head, or at least I would, of if I were in that position of Sean at the beginning in the kitchen and take a little bit before the dinner is set, I'd be taking like I don't know, a piece of maybe chocolate cake or cookie or maybe if something. But Sean is, you look at it's a carrot, isn't it? That's very healthy. It's very healthy. I mean, I know I have to eat my vegetables and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, if there are any carrot lovers there, I apologize if what I'm about to say might be offensive, but I wouldn't necessarily be so inclined to take a little bit of the carrot and eat it before. That's just me. That's my own personal taste. If it were a cookie, if it were a chip cookie, that would be a completely different. I'm not saying chocolate chip cookies on salads, but I'm saying if it was a plate full of chocolate chip cookies, I'd be like, I gotta take a little cookie before I eat there. But that's um, yeah, yeah. So, all right. Zareth, I think Ellen says your father was a notorious tomato thief. Okay, all right. Yes. Eric Pieper with the information. Wow, information galore. Eric and Jared and others. Well done. Well done. Yes. All the while, Sean is taking a carrot and talking about Mitchell Anderson's restaurant in Atlanta. Wow. Wow. Metro Fresh. I have to. I've never had a chance to see. Wow, that's interesting. Does he? Is something on the menu including like carrot salad or something? That would be interesting. But anyway, thank you so much for that. Thank you. So let me now continue on with the chat here or the discussion, which is we've set up a number of the elements of the beginning, or I mentioned already the beginning and that horrific death. Before we go to the Bahamas, let me say that we have then also the idea of Sean. He was about to get married, and not just get married, but saying out loud just before he gets perished or before he gets killed by the shark. Do you know the type of man that you're about to marry? Oh yes, yes, Mrs. Brody, I'm about to marry this man that I really, really love, and it's Christmas. And oh, I'll see you later, Sean. All right, I'll see you later, guys. Bye, bye. So don't ever announce in a Jaws film that you're about to get married. Don't ever do that. Also, that should be in the same rule book as like don't ever have an inflatable boat in a Jaws film. And we'll get to the banana boat scene later. But wow, okay. Um, But so don't ever do that, because unfortunately what happens is, right, those marriage plans will not work out, unfortunately, because of the traumatic events that are going to happen just a few minutes later. Because of, as what I've mentioned to what Mike says later, it was a piece of wood. I should say then that, just to follow on with this idea of grief and loss, when the Mike and Carla and Thea arrive in Amity, I mentioned a little bit, we see some of the people. Mrs. Kintner is back. I want to say here, it is such a surprise. It was such a surprise for me when I saw Mrs. Kintner, who's actually, I think her name in the credits is Kinter, Mrs. Kinter. But actually, it's Kintner, right? Kintner, Mrs. Kintner, like Alex Kintner. This is the mother. This is mother of Alex Kintner, the boy who was killed in one of the early scenes in Jaws. A very famous, very scary scene in that first film. And if you remember from the first film, the the way in which Mrs. Kintner confronts Chief Brody on the dock, right? It's very, very tense scene. And to my recollection, one never hears of Mrs. Kintner ever again in any of the sequels until we get this. So, assuming it's the same person, it looks like her, and there's Mrs. Kinter, Kinter, but it's Kintner in the credits. So, this was such a surprising moment for me. This was really, really surprising because she is so warm. She's the one who embraces Thea. Remember when Mike is going outside and Carla's like, we'll talk about that later. And Carla's staying inside, letting Mike be alone with his mother. And you hear, Uncle Sean is dead. Will he ever come back? And you can see all the people there trying to be so warm and friendly to this little girl who's now, right, 5 years old, five, almost six. But that was so, like, wow, that was a wow moment for me. Because, as I say, that I would assume that maybe Mrs. Kintner might have moved away, or maybe that she would have some not so nice feelings ever since the death of her own child with towards the Brodies. But now we see there's some kind, not just we assume that was not just some kind of connection, but a reconnection, but now very close friends. That she'd be one of the people to console Ellen Brody during her time of need. Also, too, it's a subtle reminder of the fact that she too lost her child to an attack on the seas or in the water. So there are some connections going on here. So that was a huge thing for me when I saw that. And so that was great. And then, of course, compounded by Thea's words. And again, it's the little girl, the innocent child, who's able to say these things that are very, again, just very direct. But again, it's sent so innocently because she is just a little kid. And Uncle Sean is dead. That also was that was like a thunderbolt in terms of the shock. And then, of course, the embrace between father and mother. It came for him. It came for him. And the idea is later sown about, Ellen Brody wants Michael to stop working in the water, because now he is studying, I think it's maybe some kind of marine biology studies of some sort. And so she just wants him to be out of the water because now she understands, or she believes, that there's a shark that is now out for revenge against the Brody family. It killed Sean. It killed your father. Dad died of a heart attack. It was fear. It was the fear of it that killed him. So it was that. Although then it begs the question, right? It begs the question, I think, one of the ways in which a number of critics do criticize this film, and perhaps quite rightly too, which is if she and the Brody family perhaps were so scared of the water, or so intent on, or believing that the shark was going out for revenge, then why wouldn't she move to a place that was isolated from the water? Why would she continue to live on the beach or in Amity, or go to the Bahamas? Or why would she do this? Why would she do this? So I get that criticism. I really do. And I think what would have been helpful for the film would be to borrow something that we saw in the first film, right? If you remember Jaws from 1975, there's a similar thing that happens between Matt Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss's character, and Roy Scheider's Martin Brody character, where they're on the boat before they find Ben Gardner's boat there. They're in at night, and it doesn't make sense for someone who doesn't like the water to live on an island. And then Martin Brody, I think, very cleverly retorts, and he says, "Well, it's only an island when you look at it from the water." That makes a lot of sense. And I think this film, Jaws the Revenge, just needed something like that, just to give it that explanation. You might not like the water. Maybe you're scared of fish, or you're scared of sharks, or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like living in a place like Amity. That doesn't mean that you don't like living in this type of of seaside area. I mean, you maybe it means that you look out onto the ocean and the water, but don't necessarily like swimming. I don't live in that type of seaside area, but I have been so fortunate to meet, say, people who live in that type of community, but who don't like swimming. I do like maybe they enjoy that atmosphere. They enjoy that nature. One friend of mine who is a painter, an amateur painter, and he loved to paint these scenes of the water and the sunlight sparkling on the surface and the like, and they're really well done paintings. But he didn't like to swim. He hated swimming, but he loved living in this type of area. So I think it's a similar type of mindset, which I personally don't look at it as a criticism. It is sort of explained in Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D when we understand that Sean Brody in that film is a college student in Colorado. He got a gentleman's C in something, but he got a top grade in physical education class or whatever. But so it's explained in that way. So that kind of makes sense. But it also, right? It's totally okay to not like swimming in the water, but still live in a place like Amity, or go to a place like Bahamas. That's certainly the case. So I'm totally with that. I think just it would have been maybe helpful to the film if there was that just one bit of dialogue, very much similar to the Hooper Brody dialogue in the first film. But I can maybe watch the film, and I have that piece of dialogue in the back of my mind, perhaps, and that helps me along. So with that particular detail about being in the water, even though one is deathly afraid of the water, etc. So, but that doesn't not make sense to me. Um, so there's that element. But then we have the what I think too is another powerful moment for me is when Carla and Carla and Michael are just walking on the beach alone. And because we also understand this is not only a mother who has lost a son, this is a brother who has lost a brother. And he's just saying, "Oh, it's just a piece of wood. It was a piece." So frustrating. I just remember, and you can tell that he is just reliving something. And he just runs. He says, "Where are you going?" "Nowhere." He's just running along the beach alone. And it's whatever. He's isolated. It's just no one else is on the beach, and it's just him running. And that is to me too such a brilliant moment. It kind of comes out of nowhere, and it might feel somewhat random, but it's that moment of what to do. I think expresses so much. It allows him to just physically expend energy in a way that just is a release of some sort. Maybe it allows him to express emotion in a way that he doesn't have to show his wife who is there, so he's allowed to maybe express it freely. It also is it's the feel of the air, because he's always been right up to now in the Bahamas in a different environment, so he's back home in a manner of speaking. And also it's maybe just a way for him to relive being a child running on the beach again. he's I can I mean, I don't know, I'm just having a sudden experience of losing a brother. I don't know, but maybe I can try to imagine those feelings that must be inside him, about maybe he's reliving childhood memories about with his brother playing on the beach or whatever. Um, so I thought that was a really powerful moment. And as I say, these moments uh, handle grief and loss in such a great way. I mean, a cinematically effective way. When I say great, yeah. So this is that was great. That was really great. Um, let's see here. Oh yes, Sean's I guess girlfriend or fiance is Tiffany, right? Tiffany, yes. Are there any Hellraiser 2 fans out there? Hellbound Hellraiser 2 fans. I love Hellbound Hellraiser 2. There's a very important character there called Tiffany. I'm your doctor. I'm here to help you. Oh, maybe one of these days we should do a Hellbound Hellraiser 2 live stream. Or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I love that film too. But let's see. Going into the scrolling down the chat here. Hookie Bricks Hookie is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Let's see. Um, inflatable boats. Let's see. Great stuff. Well done. Everyone with the Jaws, the revenge knowledge here. It's incredible. Incredible. Yes, incredible. Well done. All right. Just scrolling down here. Yes. Great. Hookie Bricks Hookie says it's been some time, but I think I watched Jaws 3 mainly for Jaws the Revenge, mainly for Michael Caine. Yes, well done. Yes, Michael Caine is so great in this. Yes. So now let us go to the continuing on with this. So the decision is made with giant lollipop Thea and company. Saying, come to the Bahamas, mom, come to the Bahamas. I want to be good for you. It is Christmas season, so it's Christmas and then New Year's in the Bahamas. So I think it's good. And it'll be an opportunity for her to spend time with Michael and his family, and also maybe give her the opportunity more to try to push her wish for him to stop working in the water and to find someone, you can write, you can teach or something. But that's the idea. So now we have the transition to the Bahamas, not before a number of very effective scenes, which I mentioned earlier on the ferry, etc. But then we go suddenly to the plane, at least the version I saw, the plane, and then we have the close up of Ellen and those sunglasses. I don't know what those brand of sunglasses are, but they look really really amazing. I must say, Lorraine Gary, her performance here is really top notch. It really is. It's I think it feels like it's a difficult role to handle, but as I say, those moments with her and the grief and loss at the beginning are handled so well, and now she has this kind of almost cool exterior that is being applied, and those sunglasses, just those, oh wow. And then the introduction of Hoagie, and the idea here is, Thea and Hoagie, and that interaction between them, and he allows her to do a little bit of the steering, a little, and then just this playful atmosphere, going away and all this stuff. The clouds just get bigger and they get small, and then all this fun time, and they go into the runway there. So now the introduction of Michael Caine, and Michael Caine, there's a little bit of maybe some stuff about how maybe he lost a lot of money at the gambling casinos, and yeah, it's okay, I'll win it all back. And so there's almost a type of roguish, adventurous charm about Hoagie, Michael Caine, from the get go, and that is so brilliant. Hoagie is one of those great Jaws characters. He really is. He seems to be so almost world weary. He's done everything, it seems, and now he is gambling, going fishing on his boat, a pilot in the Bahamas. Such a cool character who obviously has a kind of an attraction towards Ellen Brody. So he has a heart in that way. So uh, uh, Michael Caine's Hoagie is one of the greats here. Really is one of the greats. And I always like to think, what would a Jaws film been like if you had? Could you imagine on the same boat? Could you imagine they go out? All these characters go out on the boat to hunt the shark in the final, say, act of the film. So you've got Hoagie, Matt Hooper, Martin Brody, Ellen Brody, and Quint. You know, Quint from the Robert Shaw. Could you imagine all of them on the same boat? And let's throw in the Harbor Patrol helicopter pilot there for good measure from Jaws 2. Yes. Oh, could you imagine all of them out? We're gonna go get that shark, you know. And let's throw in Henderson too. Yes. Everyone. Yes. So they're gonna go get the shark, and that would be an unbelievable. That would be like what is it? What is it? Avengers like unite. Wow, could you imagine? That would be so cool. Wow. They should do I don't know. Could they do a thing with Jaws and what is it? Jaws and the what's it? The multiverse, and then have right like all the people. Right? Oh, great! That would be great. Quint and Hoagie meeting. Oh, wow, wow! Could you imagine? Could you imagine Hoagie and Quint having a drink off? Who would win in a drink off between like the cans of beer? Oh gosh, could you imagine? Wow, wow. And maybe they'd be singing songs if they're at night, when they're singing in Jaws, show me the way, right? What song would they sing, Hoagie and Quint? What would they sing in order to bond and get together? What would it be? Like, well, I don't know what it would be, 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 90, or maybe it would be that. I don't know. Oh, it'd be so cool if they'd sung 99 bottles of beer on the wall, Hoagie and Quint in the same. Wow. Hoagie, what a legend. What a legend. As I say, Michael Caine does, he pulls it off amazingly. And I mentioned at the start of the live stream, I have a theory in my head, which is Hoagie is Alfred. And so, I can imagine after all these exploits, or maybe at the same time, he is now going to work for, I don't know, the Wayne family or something, and the like, and talk about, that maybe it's after these adventures, immediately after Jaws' Revenge, he runs into the bandit with the jewel the size of a tangerine, right? So, yeah, try this hoagie. I made it myself. Pretty good stuff. Yes, that would be amazing. That would be so amazing. Yes. Yes, Michael Caine. Yes. Oh gosh, and as I say, it was a huge. There's a scene too, which is, he takes Ellen to the junk canoe, and Ellen has a sense of something happening in the ocean, but then she tries to shake it. It's nothing, and she dances, and he dances too, and he's doing that kind of hop kind of dance too. And Ellen, you gotta let go, you gotta let go. I don't know, you've gotta. And I love this serious kind of dialogue while they're doing this, hop along kind of dancing. Oh, it's great stuff. Oh, it's great. I love it. Oh, oh, just great. And then there's a scene too where he's at the casino. He's yeah, and it's okay. It's okay. You can tell though he's lost. He's very deflated, but he doesn't let it bother him, at least outwardly. So anyway, so Hoagie, what a great character he is, and he did what the helicopter pilot in Jaws 2 could not do, which is escape from the sinking ship, or the helicopter in that film, or the plane in this film. And although maybe, of course, I don't know, one could say that maybe, as I say, Jaws the Revenge Shark is a little bit maybe nicer than, say, the Jaws 2 shark, which is like, I'm so angry. Someone, blew up a flare in my face, and my face is all scarred. Oh, I'm so angry. I'm going to eat this helicopter. But Jaws is the rivers. Oh, I'm in the Bahamas. Oh, here's a plane. Oh, I'm just gonna slowly chew on it and just kind of sink down. I'm gonna jump into the air and just slowly sink it. Okay. Oh, there's a Michael Caine swimming. That's okay. Bye. See you later. See you in the final attack. So maybe it was like that. But um, we can theorize just maybe the levels of friendliness of the sharks over the films. But maybe this is probably the friendliest. Although the shark did quite a number on Sean in the beginning there, but and also the banana boat as well. Um, what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I said Hoagie, a character for the ages in my view. Yes, great stuff. Nice. Don Kelly, Snake Eyes at the Gambling Show. Yes, it showed a one, and it scrolled down to reveal the second one. Oh yes, and there's the guy at the head. Come on, come on, come on! There's that guy at the head there. And you want to? Oh no! Oh, things like that, and he just, yeah, yes, Yes. Um, yeah, oh gosh, Hoagie, what a great character. So we have then that type of subplot. Michael is a little bit concerned about how close Hoagie is getting with Ellen Brody, and indeed how Ellen Brody is getting close with Hoagie. So there's that connection or bond there that is forming. So that's forming a little bit of a subplot, although it doesn't really go anywhere in the sense that there isn't any type of confrontation between Michael and Hoagie in that front. On the contrary, Hoagie becomes an ally, and they become, we assume, kind of friends in a way. So, or they were already friends to begin with, but excuse me. Um, but anyway, so that is the situation with Hoagie's character. Let's see. What else? Okay, so now we are in the Bahamas, and there's a scene with the swinging on the thing, and Thea, it's dangerous. Oh, come on, Thea, you fit. Thea, I want to play on the swing, and you've got to. Every time, oh, I'm gonna go home. And then that's showing also revealing a little bit the tension that's still there, still understandable. So because she has just lost her son, still, so she is still grieving. Um, and the idea too that it's Christmas, and also as I mentioned to the other great character here. There are many great characters, but the other one of the other great characters is Jake. Mario Van Peebles, and that relationship between Jake and Mike is wonderful. They are friends. They're, Jake and his wife or girlfriend spending Christmas time with Mike and his family and Ellen Brody, etc. And so they are very close, and they're also maybe working together on this project, this conch tagging project, uh, which they just got, or he just got their first grant, etc. So it's very exciting news. So they're continuing their studies and their research or academic work, or we assume it's their research or academic work. So I like that rapport between them. And all the while, we have these elements of the shark that are occurring. Up to now, I think the shark hasn't been fully revealed, which is, I think, a great strength of the film. The film is still a type of on edge horror film, type of scary film to me, all the way up to the first reveal of the shark. So this, I think, includes the moment where we have, I think, the dream sequence of Ellen Brody swimming in the water. And you remember that she's swimming, and then she just senses something and she wants to go back, and then suddenly we have the sharp, the editing and the teeth, which was also a really scary moment for me as well to have that in the theater. That was also scary. It was almost the same Sean Brody dies level scariness. The editing, there's something about the blood and the quick editing and the shots of the teeth. That's just it's quite frightening for me. So that was another thing that kept me on edge. And then she wakes up and you hear Grandma, and that's it. And she goes back to sleep. So, and then I think my understanding is then we get the reveal of the shark. Now, once the shark is revealed, which is a very kind of random moment, I think there's no event or anything. It's not like the shark attacks. It's not like Jaws, where suddenly we see the chum scene with the orca, or it's not like the bit with the water skier in Jaws 2, or the bit in the underwater aquarium restaurant in Jaws 3 with the giant la 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 and the giant gums of the shark in Jaws 3. Here it's just suddenly, oh, I'm swimming in this, that it looks very much like a, not even a mechanical. I mean, I'm sure it's a mechanical shark, but it just looks like a doll swimming. It's just so happy to be there. So again, when that, that happens for me, the film at that point totally turns into a different type of film. It becomes almost a fun frolic of a film, in a manner of speaking. So that's what meant when I said this film feels like two films in one. At this point, it becomes the second film, which isn't anything bad in my view. It still feels like a lot of fun. It's just now all those moments of tension and horror and shock give way to this adventure involving the shark, which is a kind of less and less if you look at the film, because there aren't that many shark attack scenes that occur. There are some moments with the shark and Jake and Mike, of course. including the bit with the guy's feet in the water. Remember, he's sitting there. That was like an amazing moment for me as well. You see the shot on the water, the guy's sitting there and on the edge there with his feet in the water. So, but you don't get a lot of shark attacks until maybe towards the end with the beach and the banana boat. But of course you get, as I said, the Jake Mike shark thing. But I think that I wouldn't call that the high suspense scenes for me as much as it's just more revelations of the shark. And I think that's due to the fact, for me anyway, that you get a lot of the shark and a lot of the shark shots, which don't look so scary to me. But that doesn't serve any disadvantage from my point of view, because I'm able to turn my perspective and look at it as a different type of film, as a type of maybe uh, out in the sunshine action film in a way, with a shark that looks very happy to be there. Incidentally, those teeth too, and the way that the gums look in the teeth, they look very like whenever the shark pops out of the water, it's like, "Hi, I'm here," that type of feel to it. Everyone's like, "Oh, get away, get away!" But the shark, "I'm here," I'm so. Let me. I want to get on the banana boat. You're up. Oh, I'm so sorry. I accidentally put the lady in my mouth. Oh no, I didn't mean to bite you. Oh, So maybe all the shark wanted to do was just get on the banana boat and just have a good time, just like everyone else. But he looks very happy. Looks very happy. But yeah, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So the reveal, yes, in the Bahamas. That to me is a very, very. It turns it into a different type of film. But I say different type of film, but it also allows too for that banter between the characters, which I also very much appreciate. It reminds me a lot of Jaws and Jaws 2. In fact, Jaws 3. One of the great strengths of those films is the banter, the camaraderie, and the character chemistry between the characters. One of my favorites is Jaws 3. I'll have my beeper, beeper, beeper. I'll have my beeper, beeper, beeper back. The scene between Kay and Mike in the kitchen. The dog does not eat on the counter, or that sort of thing. And the standoff. It's not just a game of balance, but it's a game of deception. Jaws 2, we have, the whole scenes with it's an island. I've never been fired before. And then Jaws, it's like, in Amity, you say yeah, and the yeah, not too far from the cat. How does that sound? Like you're from New York, that sort of. Oh, I got hit by a vampire. Here in Jaws: The Revenge, we have similar sorts of things with Carla and Mike. I always wanted to make love to an angry welder, because we understand too that she's an artist. And so there's this sort of banter, kind of like sexually charged foreplay stuff that happens between Carla and Mike, and I really like Carla as a character. She has a type of understanding. She's also a mother, and she's also someone who's in love with Mike Brody, and she's also an artist, and so she has those moments, but she's not there's a nice balance to her character, and I really like Karen Young, I think the actor's name is. So I like that character very much, and one of the reasons why too is the interaction with the other characters. um, and she says, for example, "Oh, yeah, it's okay, it's a fun, the banana boat and stuff." And she's also concerned when Ellen is somewhat on edge after they've just arrived, and said, "Don't play on the swings. You still have some packages." So she has that way of being somewhat understanding while not necessarily saying it out loud. So I like that. And then the angry welder thing, and incidentally, before that, we have the shot between Mike and Ellen, when Mike is showing the artwork, and you get the scene from inside the not from outside looking in, and Mike's head is seen through the sculpture, and it looks like Mike is in the mouth of a shark, from Ellen's point of view. So that just compounds the paranoia that she's feeling. But it's not colored red at that point. It's going to be colored red later. But it also reminds me, it's a little bit. Mike looks a little bit. How should I put it? For those who remember Jaws 3, and what happens to a character in that film called Philip Fitzroyce, and a shark and a mouth, etc. So at that moment in Jaws 4, Mike Brody looks very Philip Fitzroyce, in terms of being caught in the mouth of the shark there, at least what looks like the mouth of the shark. But then returning to Carla and Mike, there was another scene as a kid I never understood the meaning of. And then maybe a little bit later as I got older, I kind of understood the meaning, which is Mike was standing in against the window at night in the bedroom, and he's just looking out. He's very kind of uh, lost in thought. And Carla is in bed and is, you know, you okay? And then she kind of does something under the sheets, and then she pulls out something, and then she slingshots like some piece of clothing at him, and he's like, oh, and I never knew what that was. And so, oh, and then later I think it's her underwear, and she's sort of doing the slingshotting of her underwear at him. So, and then that's meant to be kind of signal to maybe there's something that she has in mind that can help him get his mind off of whatever it is he's worrying about. You know, so that sort of thing. So it's like kind of a foreplay situation between husband and wife, and so it's a very interesting situation. You know, as I say, when I was a kid in '87, I wasn't quite sure what that was going on. As I grew older, oh, okay, that's very interesting. What's going on there? I've, I've never had the experience of personally being slingshotted with a piece of underwear before. So maybe I don't know if I put that on my bucket. Maybe I should put that on. You know, things that I want to do or experience before I die. You know, I want to visit San Francisco. I want to, I want to go to what is it, the mall in Dawn of the Dead, and I want to maybe be slingshotted with some underwear, you know, like Mike Brody in Jaws: The Revenge or something, or maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, it's an interesting scene. So that's, I think, another example of the the sort of relationship dynamics that are shown here in this film, Jaws: The Revenge, which I really enjoy very much, and also uh, I enjoy because it adds that character dimension to, which is very important in films like this, and also to the family dynamic with Thea, who is also a very important character. She is the innocent one. She is also the way in which Mike is able to recreate, maybe almost unintentionally, recreate those memories that then brings Ellen back to some of their flashback scenes, back linking to Jaws, the first film, you know, specifically and perhaps most crucially. In the context of Jaws: Revenge, the scene between Mike and Thea at the dinner table, and the cop being going like this and going like this and going like this and going like this, oh, excuse me, we're doing the thing at the end with the. I remember this too because, you know, my grandmother, my grandmother who passed away several months back, but who is my mom's mom, and so when I was a little kid, too, and I'd visit my grandma would do this with her lips as well with me, which was this thing, which was, and then I do that too with you, do it back to her as a kind of fun game, you know, like, and so now when I see Jaws: The Revenge and I see the scene, you know, I don't recall. Are there any other films that have scenes where characters are doing that with their? I don't even know what this is called, but that is so endearing to me. It's so charming and sweet to me, and one of the reasons why I feel that way is because it reminds me of my grandmother and what it was I did when when I was a kid, and those are fun times. I actually also remember too, much later. I accidentally, I didn't mean to do it, but she was so angry. My grandmother was so angry at me. I don't know if she ever forgave me actually, but I was also a kid, a little bit older, and I thought it would be just a fun thing to just kind of have a little. I had a Freddy Krueger mask. You know, they had a Freddy Krueger mask. It was a full head mask, and so I'm a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I had the plastic glove, you know, and I even had a sweater, and it was great. And so I thought, oh, it'll be great. I'll put on my Freddy Krueger mask and kind of say, oh, hello. And one morning I woke up before her, and I just put on my Freddy Krueger mask in the kitchen. And then she came to the kitchen a couple, maybe an hour or so later, and she said, oh, hello. She was so like, oh, she got so angry at me. I remember she said, I don't ever do that to me ever again. And as I said, I think maybe from that point on, the the connection between my grandmother and me maybe somewhat cooled. Not wholly. You know, she was a great grandma. She what a lovely warm person she was. But maybe it was just maybe I did something that day that ever so slightly, but still forever altered. how she felt about me or our relationship. But anyway, I didn't mean any ill will by it. I really affectionately like Freddy Krueger, so the character anyway, or the Nightmare on Elm Street films. But that is a tale for another day, my friends. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Scott Johansson Jaws: The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Oh, is that meant to be a oh, Nicolas Cage, right? Okay. Yes. Oh, Hookie Bricks Hookie is off to bed. Okay, not a problem. I'll see you later, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. And let's see. Don Kelly says, "Ride the banana boat. Add to bucket list." Yes, thank you. Yes, ride the banana boat. Let's talk about the banana boat scene. Okay, so all the way up to here, we've had the interactions with Jake and Mike and the shark and his team on the one hand, keeping it a secret from Ellen and the rest of the family on the land. On the other hand, Carla and Mike and that interplay, and Ellen and Hoagie and the family. Incidentally, there's a moment where Ellen Brody is making a sandcastle with Thea, kind of early on, and just trying to make a little uh, road to the water. You remember that scene? He's got to make this thing. I must say that is a really impressive sandcastle. Do you see that sandcastle with the moat? That is super impressive. Gosh, that is great. That's one thing. And he says, "Oh, this is a moat, and we'll connect it to the water to Buckingham Palace." I must say that uh, you know for the longest time, whenever she said Buckingham Palace or Buckingham Palace, I don't know the way she says it, or maybe it's just maybe it's my ear, and this is all on me, but it doesn't sound like Buckingham Palace. It always sounds like she's using I don't want to use profanity here, but she's using the F word, the effing palace. That's what I always thought she heard. Then we're gonna make a moat to the effing palace. And it's like, oh gosh, suddenly she's what is going on here? Thea's there, but then I realized that she's actually making reference to Buckingham Palace. So, but anyway, so that's just my maybe my own ears failing me, and just thinking I hear some words where in fact what is being spoken is something completely different. But anyway, oh well. Now going to just turning to the film or the plot of the film going on here. Yes, and Scott says you were an evil kid. Yes, maybe I was an evil kid. Yeah. So like did I do some other Jaws? Um, let's see. Uh, what else did I do? I mean, I did like I did play I had a kind of plastic shark, with a kind of hollow center, and so you could fit whatever it was, action figures or something inside the mouth, like Lego toys. My favorite actually was like those Lego people. You can fit them into the mouth there. So that I always play. Oh, I'm Philip Fitzroy's or something like that, oh, Sean, I do something like that in the pool or the bathtub or something. Um, anyway, yeah. So. Oh, Gerald continues. I met Richard Dreyfuss at a TCM screening of Jaws a few years ago. Wow, wow. I am an illustrator and was invited to the VIP event for a theater I do the art for film screening posters for. Wow, that's very cool. Very intelligent man. Wow, Gerald. Wow, well done. Oh, you are I didn't know. I didn't realize you were an illustrator. I know for film screening posters. Is that well done? Wow, wow. Oh, interesting. Wow, wow. You met Richard Dreyfuss. That is so cool. And you say he's a very intelligent man. Mm. I always like that bit. I mentioned it in the Jaws live stream discussion, but when he's talking about the documentary Jaws, the shark is not working. The shark is not working. I always love that bit from Richard Dreyfuss. That's so cool. Um, let's see. Yes, oh, and you're an artist too, an illustrator. Oh, wow, that's great. You make posters. I wonder if you were, you know, um, if you ever if it's interesting to you, or if it's not, if don't no worries about it, but if ever you have any artwork and you want to have it displayed, um, if it's okay, film related, let me know. I'm always interested in seeing that, and I've been very fortunate to receive a number of artwork from people who are very kindly watching the channel, and a number of people have drawn me. And there, a couple, maybe a few days ago, in fact, someone Instagram notified me, or I don't know what the verbiage, but I got a notification through Instagram because I'm also on Instagram, and someone said, "Oh, he posted me, or he linked me to a post that this person made on that person's Instagram, and it was a drawing of me with holding like a criterion or something with a criterion C on it, and just making such a lovely remark. I was so moved by it. It was like, dear Daisuke, I really enjoy watching your channel. It was, and this person said such a nice, so nice. It was like, it's like a nice follow up to the David Lynch weather reports or something. I was, wow, I was so touched by that. Wow. So, and this artwork to boot, and that was lovely. But anyways, I'm a big fan of people who are artists, because for a number of reasons. One of which is I could never draw. I tried, once, but it was just totally a failed effort all the way. I'm not an artist as well. I always respect artists in that way. So Gerald, well done, thank you. Um, Ben is here. Glad I was able to catch this live too. Yes, Ben, nice to see you. For the best Jaws film, Psychic Sharks is the only way to do them. Especially love the way it disrespects the Brody character. Yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, although, Psychic Sharks, you mentioned it, and I'll mention this before I move on to the sort of final climactic third act of the film. But Psychic Sharks, this isn't anything kind of new in the realm of Jaws sequels. It was mentioned earlier in the live chat, but sharks don't take things personally, Chief Brody. And that is a line that I'm paraphrasing from Jaws 2. The idea of maybe if there was Chief Brody is beginning to hypothesize, why is there a second shark in these waters? And the idea is, maybe could have called another shark. Maybe there was a psychic link or something. Sharks don't take things personally, Chief Brody. Now that line wasn't carried through, I would suggest, in the final plot of the film, because there's nothing that is, I think, suggested later directly that would suggest to me anyway that the shark in Jaws 2 was anyway connected psychically with the first film. Although there's a type of implication, and I think then therefore Jaws: The Revenge could be seen as a type of follow up of that particular line in Jaws 2 in a really interesting way. So. And that way, there's a type of psychic link. Although, also, I think we can also see Jaws: The Revenge, even though the title is Jaws: The Revenge. As I mentioned earlier, I can also look at this film as being not necessarily focusing in on the, say, revenge part, just being looking at it as a total coincidence of situation. It could be a totally different shark. It could be a totally different thing going on. So I don't, and of course, the whole idea of the shark plotting to focus only on the Brody family. I mean, it might be seen to be perhaps it might be seen, or might, and I know it's been said to be one of for the those who are critical of the film. It's been said to be one of the most ludicrous aspects of this. How can a shark be plotting to go after a certain family? But it is something that I'll say a couple things. That it never bothered me, and it's also, as I say, it's part of the background, which is not a direct aspect of the plot for me as I watch it. And then even if I ponder it and I think, oh yeah, maybe that is ludicrous. It is a movie, so it's not something that I haven't seen elsewhere before. I mean, I've seen it in, say, a film like Orca. The film Orca, and the like. And there is also something to be said about the way in which personification occurs, and how personification can be taken to a type of literary and metaphorical, I mean, even direct plot relevance in even some of what are regarded as some of the great works of literature, like Moby Dick, Melville, and so I look at it in that way. And so, I don't look at this film as an example of maybe like gritty, quasi documentary, cinema verite realism. I look at it as a type of that type of just like in many senses of like off the wall entertainment. And so with a lot of I would suggest, as I mentioned earlier, some really effective scenes to boot. So yeah. So Orca, I'd be up for a live stream to discuss Orca, says Zyro3. Yes, that is another film that traumatized me. Oh, I don't. Oh, that scares me so much. That film Orca. And in yeah, we'll talk. I'll think about that. Although we have to think also. What are we going to talk about Tron too? But that's a story for another day. Hmm. All right. So let's see. We'll have to talk about. Here we go. All right, let's continue on. So thank you very much. Let's see, we're are we doing for time? Good for time. So today I'm a little bit I have a little bit of a more relaxed schedule because what I usually have to do at 9:30 it's off today because actually today is we are in the middle of a Japanese national holiday week called Golden Week. And so I have a week off, or actually 10 days off, starting from 2 days ago, starting from Friday. So Friday, Saturday, today is Sunday morning my time. So I have a little bit of extra time for me. So that's more time that we can spend for Jaws the Revenge and others. So, but now we have to go to the unveiling of the artwork on the beach, which is part of this art exhibition slash part of the art sculpture that is meant to be, I think, part of the beach or the public property viewing space area of the beach, whatever it is. It's painted red. It has heart shapes, so I think it's meant to evoke that type of love, warm, welcoming spirit. Being welcomed with the speech by, I think it's described as the commissioner. Let's see, Mr. Witherspoon. Yes, this is the Melvin Van Peebles appearance. And I must say, when I was a kid, I had no idea. I didn't know Melvin Van Peebles, and of course, that also meant I didn't know what he looked like. But then later on, when I discovered the works of Melvin Van Peebles and my Melvin Van Peebles cinema journey continued, it started actually with my discovery of Sweet Sweetback back um, in in college, and then it now continued on up to the recent release of the essential film set, Melvin Van Peebles set from the Criterion Collection, a few months back. So and so then I began. Oh gosh. And then Mario Van Peebles and Melvin Van Peebles. And then when I watched the film somewhat later, Jaws of Revenge, Melvin Van Peebles is in Jaws of Revenge. That is amazing. That is amazing. So, and then Mario Van Peebles is that is amazing. So this wow the discoveries and rediscoveries and the types of uh, treats that are in store for people who are watching this for the first time. Wow, my goodness, it's amazing. This is a great film in that way. Jaws the Revenge, so great. And so anyway, Mr. Witherspoon, the commissioner of some sort, who is responsible. I always thought he was the mayor of this year, but I was mistaken. But anyway, so he's now giving the speech. Uh, 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 Jake and Mike are conspicuously absent, which I think is something that Carla is a little bit disappointed by because this is a big deal for Carla as a type of artist and her own career as an artist. So it's a really big deal, and it's an opening ceremony and everything. And then Thea sees in the distance the banana boat being dragged by the speedboat. Now, I totally get Thea's feelings here. If I'm a little kid in this type of ceremony, which is almost like the ceremony in Jaws 2, remember when they're opening whatever it was, the hotel or something, and you have refreshments in the lobby, everyone, dun da da da, and the money tree, the $1,500 money tree from Len, and the balloons with Tina there, Miss Amity, da, 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 da. So it has that type of feel to it. And also the look on the beach here, this has a Jaws July 4th feel to it as well. So I love these elements. These are and then the sunshine, the beautiful weather, everyone's out playing, have a good time on the beach. This is great stuff. This is Jaws stuff. This is great. This is great. And then Thea, I understand it. This is like a little kid. If I'm a little kid in this ceremony that, for my mom or adults or something. I'm thinking, oh gosh, I want to do something. Yeah, I totally get this as well. And so she looks out and she sees the banana. I want to do the banana boat. Can I go? And then it's okay. It's okay. Banana boats are fun. It's okay. So so she just runs up and she just runs off, and it's just her like dress or something and her shoes, and she runs off into the banana boat. That's okay for everyone, because just give her a light. What is it? The what is it? The inflatable life vest, safety vest, and then that's it. You're good to go. That's great. What a great place to live. This if I were a little kid, maybe my mom would say, "Oh, you gotta, change into your swimsuit, take off your shoes, you make sure you have a towel." And I said, "Not here. It's just you just go on the banana boat and have a good time." Wow, this is paradise. I'd love to live in a place like this with paradise. Sans shark, of course, because as we know, something will happen suddenly that is very, very terrible. We have the emergence of the fin. Dun, 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 dun. Well, what a great fin emergence this is, by the way. I must say that there have been a lot of great fin. I mean, part of the appeal of the shark films, the Jaws films, is the fin as it emerges. There have been some great fin shots. Jaws 2 with the water skier scene, that's one. Of course, Jaws, the first. I mean, I think that's probably that's the landmark. That's the gold standard, right? But here, the fin as it emerges, as it's approaching the banana boat, that is really really effective stuff. And we have Ellen, who's the first to notice Thea, and everyone noticed, and then Carla's like, "Oh, Thea, Thea," and then now everyone's having a good time, except the shark is now coming in. And as I mentioned, the shark suddenly emerges, and it's like, "Hey, I want to play too." It has that type of feel, but of course, in this Jaws film, it's like the shark is going to attack. The idea being that it is attacking a member of the Brody family. This time, the little girl. And so it just, unfortunately for the shark, fortunately for Thea, but also unfortunately for the woman who's sitting behind, it it attacks and has the poor unfortunate woman who's at the end of the banana boat, takes it and then falls down, or not, well, actually, yeah, falls down, because this is another interesting aspect of the Jaws shark attacks here, that it doesn't kind of swim into it. It kind of goes up and then goes out and then kind of sinks down again, in that interesting way in which we had this interesting development of shark physics in this film. Which is it's kind of staying inert. It's staying in one vertical axis position rather than moving constantly. And so maybe that's this. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it could be maybe a subtle thematic take on the concept of death. Maybe this is a film that we understand maybe is about death. Sharks are meant to be moving constantly. If they don't move constantly, that means right, death. But anyway, okay, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, so that it sinks down. But unfortunately for that young lady, she becomes the latest victim of the shark. And then of course the blood and the banana boat with the bite there, and it's now deflated of air and everything, and it's just kind of being dragged along, and the lady who's holding on to Thea, her back is covered in blood. Oh my goodness, this is a pretty violent scene. And the banana boat scene is one of the classics in the Jaws series. Again, don't ever, if you are a character in a Jaws film, do not ever uh, ride in an inflatable boat. Don't ever do that if you are a Jaws character. And there's yet another example. We had it in the first film with the Alex Kintner and that raft. We had it in the second film with Keith Gordon's character, and then we have it in the third film with those two guys trying to steal coral from SeaWorld, and they're just talking like this all the time, even when they're by themselves. They keep talking like this. It's like, I don't know if it's this one person using whispering and just talking to himself, or it's two people whispering and they're talking. I can't tell, because you can't tell who's whispering. Who's talking when they're whispering. You can't hear the voice. You can just hear the words as they're whispering. But anyway, so there's those guys, and like the shark's like, "Oh, I hate these guys." He just eats that boat, right? And then now we have the banana boat here. So yeah, so don't ever have an inflatable boat. So now this is and now everyone knows that there's a shark here. Carla's reaction, ah! And Carla just runs into Thea. Thea just runs in, ah, Thea. And then there's Jake's wife. Someone do something. Somebody do something. And she says this. I always found it peculiar because she says this as though no one's doing it. Actually, but they're doing something. The people who are driving the speedboat, they are doing something, right? They are. Oh my gosh, somebody do. But they are doing something. They are doing something. So um, they're trying to get away from it as quickly as possible. So that's the situation. But of course, it's a very panicked situation. I can appreciate that it's a very panicked situation on the boat or on the beach, excuse me. And then we have that great moment, which is another callback to Jaws, the first film. If you remember, there's a scene in Jaws where uh, um, after the the fake shark has been discovered on the July 4th Amity Beach. You know, it's two kids who are just with a kind of a cardboard fin, and then the young woman who's the artist, she sees the shark going into the pond. Shark going into the pond, and then now what? And then Ellen says to Martin, "Michael's in the pond." And the shark's in the pond, and then Martin Brody slowly walks, and then he runs. There's a very similar scene that happens here in Jaws: The Revenge, which is we have Ellen Brody now looking out, and she's determined. She turns around, she walks, and then she walks, and then she runs. That is very much Jaws, Chief Brody, and now Ellen Brody doing something similar. That's a great callback. I love that. I love that. So cool. And then Thea is reunited with Carla, her mom. And the idea is now Ellen Brody is now just that's it. That's it. You know, this time it's personal. Well, that's my line to you, Shark. Right. This time it's personal for me. I'm gonna get you. If it means taking this boat, Neptune's falling on my own with absolutely no idea, no plan, no specific plan. I'm just gonna go out and do it. That's totally understandable. Totally understandable. So there is that now the final setup. So now we have then Mike then coming back, oh, hey, what's going on? Just Thea was attacked by a shark, and she's in shock. And understandably so, because it's a really terrifying situation. And then this is where Mike then reveals, yeah, we knew about the shark. You knew about the shark and you didn't tell us? You knew about the shark and you didn't tell us? Where's Jake? Why didn't you tell us? Where's Jake? Where's Mom? Where's Jake? Why didn't you tell us? Where's Mom? Where's Mom? And now they're off. And now this is like, wow, final fireworks galore. Everything's set. Finds Jake. Jake's next. What's going on? Mom's gone. The shark attack. We gotta go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go on this really slow moving boat. And then Hoagie's like, where are you going? We got my mom took the boat and we gotta go to the shark. You're going in that? Yeah, no, I don't know. It's too slow. And here we go. Hoagie and Jake and Mike are now in the plane and on the lookout for Ellen Brody. That has really nice Jaws 2 parallels. Remember Jaws 2? So this is where Mike and Sean were out on their sailboats with their friends, sailboats, and this is after the shark has been discovered in Amity with Tina and Eddie, and Tina, shark, and then now Chief Brody, no, former Chief Brody in that film, although probably he got his job back. I'm not sure because you still have the picture on the wall in Jaws: The Revenge. But anyway, so the he's now in the boat looking for the kids, much like now Hoagie and Jake and Mike are in the plane looking for Ellen. Oh, it's great parallels, wonderful, wonderful. And so they're flying, and then now we go back to Ellen on the boat, Neptune's Folly, and then we have the reveal. She turns around, she sees the shark coming from behind. That's a great moment. And then the music, the composer Michael Small's credited, as I mentioned earlier. There are some. It's so cool that the music brings back that da 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 part of the John Williams score, da da da, and it comes back here. Oh, that's great. And then she's standing there, and that look on her face, Lauren Gary's, Ellen Brody's face, you know, come and get me, you. Oh gosh, that's it's just a dual final. Oh wow! And this exact moment where Hoagie's plane arrives, and oh, is that what I think it is? Yeah, we gotta go to. And then there's a moment where Mike is so worried. Mom? Mom? And I don't know, he kind of pulls that moment. She's, Mom, what? It's almost like he wants to open the door and like get out and try to save his mom as quickly as possible. You're in a plane. But anyway, it's moving. You're in a moving plane. But anyway, and then we see it flies over just at the point where the shark comes out in its wonderfully stiff robotic way. It comes out and just God, chews on the side of the boat there, and then she falls over, and then so she was in this almost hypnotized state in an interesting way. And then she stood there and just a shark just attacked. Wow, amazing, amazing. And it comes down, and then we have the moment where she's now out of it, and now the shark is away, and the plane now, Hoagie does some last minute emergency tactics and landing the plane on the surface of the water. That's such a cool moment. And you see the close up of the water and the cockpit through the windshield there, and Jake and Mike are there, and then they open, and then we have the underwater shot. Jake and Mike first swim out. Now, this is really dangerous too, especially for Mike Brody, because now the shark, we understand, is hunting the Brody. So if you have a Brody, Mike Brody, in the water, this is pretty intense stuff. So you actually have the POV shot of the shark underwater, and you see the two people swimming from the plane in the water to the Neptune's Folly ship, or the boat, excuse me. And you can see the POV shot going up, but then it goes back to the plane. And the idea is the sort of the electricity, the electric field or something will be attracted to the shark. And so that's where Hoagie comes out, but then the shark attacks the ship, or not the ship, the shark bites on the wing of the plane in a kind of, it's like, it's like, um, I don't know, it's like a maybe like a large dog maybe biting on on the fender of a car, something, just like trying to bite it or something like that. Or I don't know what it would be. It would be like, maybe take a dog analogy. It's like a dog playing with like a piece of thick rope, just trying to just not let go, and just sinking down with the plane there. And then that means that, as I recalled earlier, that means the Hoagie scene. Hoagie maybe is dead. Oh no, no, but Hoagie's alive. And then again, in the theater when I saw it, people were applauding and cheering. It was the biggest applause moment of the night, or the time there. And so there is that. And now we have Jake and Mike and Ellen and a Hoagie on the ship. And incidentally, too, I should mention, I love the little close up on Ellen Brody's face when we realize that Hoagie's alive, and she's smiling, and the tears turn to laughter. And that is a nice parallel from earlier in the film, where her laughter when she's on the ferry in Amity, her laughter suddenly turns to tears. And here's a kind of reversal of that, which is a really nice thing. But now we have the four of them on the boat, and Jake, great Jake, always with a clever plan. He has the equipment in Neptune's Fall. He's able to, they've been eating for, millions of years. They don't care that they want to eat. They're just hungry, hungry, hungry. So it's building. I just give him a meal he will not forget. Oh, Jake, so cool, so cool. And the idea of for whatever, I don't know. I don't know how this works. I'm not sure how this works. They're trying to make some kind of charge or something that is linked to a remote device, and that remote device is like a flashing light. And every time it goes, and it makes it, boom, it's like a flash bulb of a camera or something, and boom, and that's meant to send an electric shock to this thing. If inside the belly of the shark, will cause the shark to be electrocuted, or to feel an electric charge, which will, in theory, cause the shark to feel very irritated. So, okay, so that is a very clever idea. Again, I don't know how it works, but Jake is a very clever individual. So he makes this, and he wraps the wires up, and it tests it and everything. And he tries to put it on the end of the hook there, and he goes out to the I don't know what the nautical term is for that piece of wood that's extending the nose of the ship, or whatever that piece. And he goes out there, and then suddenly it turns slow motion, the deadly slow motion. Oh my goodness. Again, I don't want to be a Jaws character and be in a situation where I am the center of attention in a sequence that is slow motion, because that's like the kiss of death. That's like the kiss of death. All right, so anyway, but slow motion. Mm, Maybe I overextended that too much, but you get my point, which is the slow motion. The thing goes in the mouth. That's good, but unfortunately, he loses his balance or something, or the shark weight causes his balance to be shifted to the point where he falls into the mouth of the shark. The shark gets him and bites him, and it breaks off that piece of wood. And so it creates this jagged piece of wood at the end, at the nose of the boat there. And he falls, and we have that shot of him, Jake. It's kind of like, like and then the shark's like kind of shaking down, and Jake's almost like petting the shark's head or something. But anyway, so we've got that, and now Jake's gone. At least in the version that I saw in the theater. And now Mike's he's shocked, but he's got to carry on because Jake at least got the thing in the mouth there. And now we have the equipment, and the moment where I said, will it work? And if Jake says it's going to work, it's going to work. And now we have another thing. While Ellen is trying to pump out the water, they're trying to get the motor started so they can get the heck out of there, while Mike is trying to fulfill Jake's plan and just shock the thing. And so he goes up there, and then he holds the thing. And here we have the shark now electrified or electrocuted with the charges, and he comes out of the water. The head comes out of the water, and here we have the roars, right? Right. I can't do right. So it only occurs actually twice here, right? Twice or three times, actually twice, I think, or maybe the third time when the thing rams into the thing there. But so the shark roars, right? So that's okay for me too, because we're all the way at this moment, which is the climax of the film. I'm okay with the shark roaring, and also there is a little bit of a kind of roar sound that you hear in the first film, and not just the roar sound that occurs with the whole sound with the truck and duel and the sound effect at the end of that film when the shark is like in the underwater, but also before that too, when it's attacking Roy Scheider in the sinking orca, and it crashes through the glass, and you have at least in the version I hear, maybe it's different in the 4K release, but and then the a little bit of the he's still got a little bit of quint stuck in his teeth there, so there that sound always sounded to me like a roar, at least in the version that I grew up watching. And so I'm totally okay with it, and it's not like you know and it's like a charge too, so maybe, and I'm not a marine biologist, so I don't know what the science is of sounds that can be emitted from sharks, so but who knows, there might be something to that I should look up the research on. But anyway, but those are cool moments, I think, and that's again, I don't understand the science of this, but in terms of cinema science, I get it. Okay, he turns on the flashlight, it flashes, and it causes some kind of electric charge to happen. Cool, cool, cool. And there's a moment where it kind of doesn't. Oh, he's kind of taps it. Hey, what's going on? And then it goes off again. And then the head comes off, and while all this is going on, we have the flashbacks to all the things, and this has been commented on earlier. Flashbacks to scenes where Ellen Brody was not present, right? Okay, I get that. So the scene with Sean, well, actually, she was present when the shark attacked Thea on the banana boat, and that's part of the flashbacks too. And then, of course, Martin Brody on the sinking orca in this sort of sepia-toned thing here. So, so there, but it's, I think, of course, yes, Ellen Brody was not there when Sean was attacked. She wasn't there when the orca was singing in the first film. I get that. But it's also meant to be a kind of summation of almost like the entire Brody saga in a way. It doesn't cover part two, but you see what I'm getting at. It has that kind of saga feel to it. I thought it would be really cool if it had just one moment of, say, I don't know, Kay and Mike Brody and Sean Brody from Jaws 3. But okay, that's okay. But it's meant to be kind of a summing up in that way. So I thought that was really cool. And all the while, it's a parallel of the gun, the rifle that Chief Brody uses at the end of the first one. You son of a, right? And that's meant to be like the boat is like the rifle, and instead of shooting the rifle at the air tank, Ellen Brody's going to use the boat and ram it into the shark. Wow, that's real like cinema, parallels going on. You either go with it or you don't, right? And no worries at all if this is not your cup of tea. No worries at all. This is okay. This is too much. I'm not going. That's totally okay. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. But if you go with it, wow, wow, what a fun time this is. What a really fun time this is, and it's really quite extraordinary. Now, the Blu-ray version I have, the version it has the alternate ending in the supplements is the ending of what I saw in the theater, which is the thing gets stuck in the neck, it breaks off the front end of the ship, and we get the shot of the sinking shark with the thing stuck in the head and the blood and everything, and that's it. And then goes to the plane, and that's it. In the Now the Blu-ray version here that I have, it's the ending with the whole thing explode, boom, bah, with this like definitely it's oh I get it. It's a model. This is a model. It's suddenly like a model. What's going on? The explosion, and just everything explodes. The whole boat falls apart. We're suddenly in a water tank in Hollywood, and it's crashing against the back. It's so obvious. You know that you know the film The Truman Show? Jim Carrey, The Truman Show. It feels like this is The Truman Show or something. And like, oh, this, and then Jake's alive. Yes, that's so cool, great, everything, and it's happy music and everything. And then and Hoagie's, everyone's smiling. Everyone's smiling. Jake, oh, and Hoagie has his arm around Ellen Brody. Oh, happy, happy days, happy, happy days. So, but I have to say that I was watching this, and my kids came in and they saw they didn't see the whole film, but they saw the bit with the final attack, the final duel, the final attack, and my wife was also there too, and they sort of walked in and I was watching this film, and they said, okay, that's fine, and that's okay because they it was a bit where it was the final Neptune's Folly versus the shark, and we got into the bit where the shark suddenly explodes, and just something explodes, and wow, it's the end. Wow, it's so cool, so. And my kids were saying to me, "Hey, Dad, why? This is really cool and all, but why is the shark? Why did the shark suddenly explode?" And I turned to my kids and I said, "Yeah, it's a really good question. I don't know. I don't. What do you think?" And they said, "I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, Dad." I know it doesn't make sense, but I mean, it's still cool, right? And they said, "Yeah, it's still cool. It's really cool. It doesn't make sense, but it's really cool." So I said, yeah, I feel the same way. And I feel the same way. I feel really, it makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense, but it's cool. It's cool. I mean, I know it's not the greatest special effect in the world and it's really obvious. It's just like whatever it is, it's a model boat in a bathtub or something. Okay. But that's okay. That's fine with me. And it's kind of, it's a pretty definitive ending to the shark, Um, whatever the cause root of it was, yeah, just be careful what you eat, sharks out there, because it might end up being your last meal especially if you get rammed in the neck by a ship or a boat called Neptune's Folly. But anyway, that is the end. That's the grace note that is part of the climax of the film. It becomes, that is one of the great uh, over the top climaxes, and everyone's happy and everyone's and smiling, and Mike and Carla and Thea, everything's okay with that family. They're smiling and happy, and Hoagie is going to be the pilot of the plane. He's going to talk about all his adventures and the things with the nuns and all that, and all this. And so and everything is fine. And I love the moment too. You going to be okay? And Ellen says to Mike, and Mike says, "Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm okay." So that's almost like a reversal, all the way up to here. It was Ellen who was really traumatized because of the death of Sean, but now, she is the mom to Mike, and Mike, maybe there is some uncertainty in the world for him, but at least now she is still the mother of Mike Brody. That's Ellen Brody, and now they're off, and then the credits roll, and that's it. That's Jaws: The Revenge. Jaws: The Revenge. What a what what a fun film this is. Let me say that again. What a really fun film this is. But let me see. Let me go to the chat, and we'll go from there. Okay. Yes. Sorry about this. Scrolling up here. All right. So I'm at the moment where, all right, here we go. It's talking about Nicolas Cage and Jaws. Oh yes, the eel. Yes, Jared, thank you. The eel scared Mike. Yes, yes, I remember. Yeah, that was like, and it just swam away. Yeah, yeah, that felt like a Jaws 3 film moment. That was really cool, really good. Um, let's see, and W. Ford says, I always imagined if the Brodies moved inland, we would have a scene with a flatbed truck holding a giant water tank with an angry great white inside heading towards them. Yeah, it's possible. Or you could have had, you could have had a number of interesting situations. Maybe well, this time it's personal. Yes. Um, just scrolling that. Gator says, I still think Jaws from James Bond is scarier than the shark. um, let's see. Ben says, honestly, I do respect how much they filmed the shark underwater with extremely bright lighting in this movie. Yes, well done. That's a really fair point. Yes, even if the hydraulics are visible most of the time. Yes, that's fair. That's a really good point. About how they're saying, let's just show it. Let's show it. I mean, the lighting, as you say, might reveal the special effect aspect might diminish the illusion. But yeah, let's do it. That yeah, you're right. It deserves respect. That's for sure. Um, okay. Scott says I've got to go as my phone is dying. Okay, no problem, my friends. Nice to see you. I'll see you again soon. I hope. Nice to see you as always, Scott. Thank you. W Force, how about a live stream of underwater threats such as piranha, orca, alligators? Oh, that's an interesting idea. I might need to take a little bit of a live stream discussion break. And I do want to talk about the Superman movies going forward. But yeah, one day, I mean, I do like Piranha. I do like Piranha Part 2, The Spawning. Orca, yes, alligator. Oh, alligator, 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 alligator. I know it got, I think, a 4K release recently. I haven't been able to get that. Yeah, but I love that film, Alligator. That scared me so much as a kid. Wow, oh, just thinking about that right now. Don't get me started on swimming pools at night. Oh, don't get me started on that one. Okay, okay. Let's see. Yes. W. Forge continues. Hey, I forgot about the above water POV of the shark. Fun stuff. Yes. Um, Yes. Let's see. Gerald continues. That's one thing about film sequels, the need to find different camera angles and scene design as more films are made in the story. Yes. Um, let's see. Ben says, I know I'm fairly late, but also the opening to this film is very atmospheric. The crosscuts of the isolation of Sean to the choir singing is honestly pretty chilling. Yes, I agree. Yes, 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 I agree. I absolutely agree. Yes. Jared says, yes, there are only 2 kills by the shark. Originally, we were supposed to see more, but they rewrote the film, and so the other kills only remain in the book, which was based on the early script. And then Gerald says, the amazing thing is shark attacks are uncommon. These films made people think if you stepped in a foot of water, a shark was going to attack you. Sharks don't swim around looking to eat people. I didn't know that. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, sharks. William Somerset is here. Hello. Sharks that roar like dinosaurs are awesome. Also completely fictitious. So thank you. Don Kelly said earlier, Hoagie made an awesome landing. Yes. Yes. Um, Oh, yes, talking about the clothes drying of Michael Caine. Jarrett says the reason for Michael Caine's clothes drying quickly is they took so long to reset for the shot so he isn't as wet as he should be. Plus, the water would dye his hair and clothes blue. So thank you, thank you. Um, yes, William says Michael Caine says he's never actually watched the film. Right? He's never seen Jaws, but he's seen the house that it helped to build or something like that. What a very clever line. Um, let's see. Um, I think it was at the Academy Awards where Michael Caine was nominated for what is it, the Cider House Rules, and Billy Crystal was host that year, I think. And Billy Crystal was making some Jaws 4 jokes. He said, I think there's a shot. What was it? What were they? What are the stars thinking? And if I'm remembering this correctly, it's been quite a while, but it was what are the stars thinking, or is like why did you? And there's a thing where Billy Crystal does the medley at the beginning. He does the song, and I think in that year it was like for Cider House Rule, it was all about Kane. Kane, da 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 da. Well, why did you have to go to do Jaws 4 or something like that? And then later on in the show, in the broadcast, the Academy Awards broadcast, you had what are the stars thinking? And so you have close-ups of each of these random people in the audience, and then you'd have Billy Crystal on the microphone just saying something like, um, I can't believe, something like, what are they thinking? And it had a shot of Michael Caine in the audience, and then Billy Crystal's heard on the microphone saying, "I loved Jaws 4." I don't think that got quite a laugh in the audience, but I saw it. I was laughing out loud. It's great. That was the best joke in the whole night for me, I thought. But anyway, yeah, yeah. Anyway, does anyone else remember that? Am I the only one who remembers that? But anyway, so let's see. Um, where am I? Okay, so William Somerset continues. Impaling the shark was a much better ending than the spontaneous combustion ending. That shark exploded like it was full of gasoline. Yes, or it exploded what? It's not like it kind of not maybe like an exploding like explosion that was caused by something being filled with gasoline and spontaneous combustion suggests fireballs as well. Here, there wasn't even a fireball. It was just like a I don't know, a giant, I don't know, like a burst of air from a kind of an air gun, or maybe burst of air from a, I don't know, a reverse jet stream from a vacuum cleaner. Boom, and just something just blew. I don't know, really amazing. Yeah, um, amazing stuff. Let's see. Jared says, the way I look at it, the shark is being shocked by what Jake made and being impaled by the boat, which makes it blow up. It's the only way I can see it making sense. Yes, that's it. It's it. There has to be something there. Yes, so you're right. Well done. Let's see. Um, Gerald Lang says, I'll email you my website link to see my art. I don't like to promote myself. Oh, it's very kind. You know what I'll do? I will right now in the chat put, if you want to reach out to me. The best way to reach out to me is by Instagram. So I'll put my Instagram, what's called handle. I'm called Daisuke Beppu 4. I'll put that in the, I've just put it in the chat there. So Daisuke Beppu 4. It's Daisuke Beppu 4. So there are 3 other Daisuke Beppus on Instagram, I think. So they gave me 4 there. And then also email is, I don't check it so often. So this email, I admit, is probably not a good way to reach out to me. But if you are, because I do get a lot of junk mail lately. So it's a little bit of a difficult thing, I admit. But if you do want to reach out to me, my email address is here. So there you go. Anyone else if you're on Instagram, I am on Instagram as well. I used to be on Facebook. I don't use Facebook as much anymore, but Instagram and YouTube are the best ways to reach out to me. So if you want to reach out to me directly, you can always leave a direct message on Instagram. And I know sometimes I have to follow you, you have to follow me or something in order, but I will always accept requests. So like lately I've been getting a number of like junk email from oh, I want to promote my product on your channel or something. That's like, yeah, it's a bit sketchy or something, or kind of like, oh, hot girls here or something. I think get a lot of those comments as well. Really, really quite. I'm quite irritated by those spam. Oh, here, check out hot girls. Click on it. It's just a complete waste of time. Whoever does that, just complete waste of time. So I say I don't delete comments, and I don't delete comments on the channel. So if you happen to find your comment on the channel, you can't find it anymore. It's not because of me. I never delete any comments. Um, Sometimes YouTube hides or manages something. They put them in a folder, and I have to undelete them or unhide them. But I never delete anything. The ones though that I do delete are the obvious spam ones. I hate those. I really hate those. So, um, just gosh, gosh. But anyway, so that's the reason why I don't usually check my email as much. But so Instagram is the best way to go if you want to reach out to me. And that's true for anyone. If you want to say hello on Instagram, I'm there as well. You can follow me if you want. That's fine. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. That's fine either. That's fine. Whatever's comfortable for you. But I am on Instagram, so that's great. Thank you. So Don. Oh, Don says, "Oh, I'm a follower." Oh, thank you very much, Don. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I put little clips of the live streams. Not always, but sometimes. And so like the ones that I think, oh, this was really cool, and maybe it doesn't get as much traction or something as I thought, but that's okay. It's all part of the fun. Internet is this great wide expanse. Like I remember up on my Instagram, I think during a live stream, I put up what I thought was really like I was really into, because I love the film The Black Hole. The Black Hole with Robert Forster, and it's the robots and Maximilian the robot, um, right, and the Disney film, The Black Hole from the 1970s, right, with John Barry music, and I put up a little. There's a bit in one of the live streams when I was recreating for whatever, it wasn't talking about the black hole. It was talking about another film entirely. But for whatever reason, I was talking about the black hole, and I was saying, "Do you remember the bit in the black hole when Maximilian? There's Anthony Perkins, and Maximilian and Anthony Perkins is going like this with the binder, like that." And so there was that part, and so I was I put up a little clip of that, and so it's kind of random. I apologize. Maybe I should have set it up a bit more. But there's. I also put up. I put up my vocal impersonation of David Cronenberg. The filmmaker David Cronenberg. I for whatever reason, I ended up doing an impersonation of David Cronenberg on a live stream discussion where, what were we talking about? We were talking about the 60s James Bond spoof film called Casino Royale. And for whatever reason, I just decided I wanted to. Oh, we'll talk about David Cronenberg, and I went into a David Cronenberg impersonation. I had never done a David Cronenberg impersonation before or since, actually, but so I thought, okay, this is the only time in my life that I'll ever do a David Cronenberg impersonation. And I just cut that out and I put it on Instagram. So. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, yeah. So if you want to check out my David Cronenberg impersonation, you can check out my Instagram. It's somewhere there. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Also, you can find on my Instagram account a long, 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 long time ago. Definitely not now. My physical body is not what it once was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or whatever. But I have my one and only the picture of my days as an amateur bodybuilder. And so if you look carefully, you can try to find the picture. It's not a phone. It's not a picture taken of a phone, but it's a photograph that I took a picture of on my phone. It's not very clear, but it's my one and only photograph of my days as an amateur bodybuilder. And those days were very, very limited, only about a few months. But yes, so if you are interested in some Instagram, not that you have to be, it's not a problem, but. Yeah, but anyway, yes. So what was I saying? So yeah, so if you want to reach out to me, Gerald, the best way is through the Instagram Messenger. But I'm always up for some artwork. I love watching. It doesn't have to be artwork of me, and I don't mean that. I hope I don't sound like I'm a kind of like a, what is it? I don't say this to in any kind of maybe narcissistic way or anything. I hope, yeah, please forgive me if I sound that way. I don't mean that, but I mean, like, if you want to share your artwork of anything, I'm always game for that. I love watching that stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff. So, anyway, what was I saying? So, what was I saying? So just to maybe close, we still have a little bit of time. So just to close the discussion and to talk about future plans for the live streams going forward, let me say that. So Jaws: The Revenge. Once again, my dear friends, this has been so fun. I get a kick out of Jaws: The Revenge for a number of reasons that I've tried to express over the course of this live stream. And if I was not clear on that, or if I was somewhat difficult to understand, that's totally on me. That's my fault. I have to try to work on expressing myself with more clarity. But maybe that is also due in part to how enthusiastic I really feel about this. This is a film that is like a roller coaster for me. I have so many emotions when I watch this film. I feel high, I feel low, it's scared, I feel like elated. It's like an over the top, it's an over the top action film, and it's also a horror film with dealing with trauma and loss. In another minute, it's all over the place. The links to the past, links to the heritage and homage to the Jaws film series, especially one and two, also being its own thing, new characters as well as familiar characters and the like, and so many things happening here. A lot of fun things happening all around, in my view, and it sounds also like from some of the comments here, the views of some others here as well. So, no matter how you feel, my friends, if you totally dislike this film and you want to share that with me, that's great, fine, not a problem. I am so happy to hear that. It's totally okay to dunk on a film or diss on a film. That's fine. It's your journey is your own. My cinema journey is such that I think in part due also to the wonderful time I had as a kid watching this in the theater, which I mentioned earlier in the live chat, as well as also the memories that I have associated with this film, and my mom and my grandma and others, and all those memories too, also tied to the other films in the Jaws series. This for me still remains a fun and thrilling and scary film that every time I see it, I'm just it reminds me of things all over again. So, Jaws: The Revenge, Jaws: The Revenge. I really enjoy this film, and however you feel, my dear friends, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and sharing with me too your own thoughts and comments about this film. Again, from 1987, it is the film which is Jaws: The Revenge, and yes, this time it's personal. Okay, so let's see here. I have a few more minutes. I'll stick around and I'll just explain to what the plans are going for. But let me now go to the chat here. Yes. Damien P. Yes, yes. Hello, my dear friend. You see, as a child, the black hole melted my mind. It's quite dark. Oh, it is a dark film. Yes, it is so dark. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. It melted many a mind, including mine as well. I agree. I agree. Yes, I love the soundtrack of the Black. Yeah, Gerald, I agree. I love the soundtrack. Um, I love there's the John Barry's. There's a theme. Dun 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 dun. Dun. There's that great theme, but there's also the theme with the what do you call it? The kind of action sequence. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's great. I'm kind of dancing today. Like I'm kind of like Hoagie and Ellen and the Junkanoo in Jaws: The Revenge. I'm dancing. Oh, here's the black hole. I love the black hole theme. Yeah, it's great. John Barry. Ellen, you've got to get over the past. You gotta think about the future. Think about the future. Speaking of which, I was also thinking too, the next plans are going to be Superman movies. But I was thinking of the other day, oh, wouldn't it be so cool to do a live stream discussion on Batman '89. Right. I was thinking about that song. I remember I was thinking the other day, the shock that I felt as a kid listening to the it wasn't the soundtrack to Batman, but it was the album that was inspired by Batman, which is the Prince album. Oh, that was wow, wow, what a amazing experience listening to that for the first time as a kid in 89, 90, whatever it was. And it was, uh, um, Vicky Vale. I was just thinking about this yesterday. As I was riding my bike home for some reason. It was that moment in that Vicky Vale. I like Batman, Batman, and that whole thing for whatever reason. Why was I thinking about this? If a man is considered guilty for what goes on in his mind, then give me the electric chair for all my future crimes. Uh, right. Hey, I got the power. Why was I thinking about this yesterday? I don't know why, but that came into my head, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, wouldn't it be so cool to do a Batman '89 live stream? Wow, wow. Oh, right. You are my number one guy. Oh, great, right. You know. Anyway, sorry about this. Yes. Um, Hoagie couldn't keep up the dancing. Just sure, yes, thank you. Don says thanks for the series, and thank you so much, Don. It was thank you, thank you, thank you. Or to quote Bob from Jaws 2, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes. Zyro the Bat Dance and Vicky Vale remix. That's right. That's right. Um, um, oh gosh. Really, Jared says, quotes Roger Ebert, takes us all the way to the rim of space only to bog us down in a talky melodrama whipped up out of mad scientists and haunted houses. Roger Ebert on the black hole. Roger Ebert, my goodness. Did you see that scene in the black hole with the I don't want to go into too much of that orange, like that giant orange? That giant orange scene, that was the coolest scene for me as a kid. That giant orange. Wow, wow. And they're running across as the giant oranges come. Wow. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Gosh, yeah. And not to mention what happens afterwards, right? What's going on here with all this? Anyway, mm, yeah. Anyway, all right. So I'll stick around for another couple minutes, and I've got to get going. So because I need to eat some breakfast. So. But anyway, so yes, the next plan. Oh, Mara's here. Hello, hello, thank you. And you say thank you for the discussion, Daisuke. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And you continue. I actually like Jaws: The Revenge, maybe because it's the first Jaws movie I saw from the franchise. Everybody would. Thank you so much. And let me say too, I know maybe it's a kind of, how should I put it, a popular opinion maybe to not to be negative on this film, Jaws: The Revenge, and that's okay. That's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with having a negative take on the film. Don't worry about that. But what I will say too is, don't be ashamed of liking this film. Don't be ashamed. Be proud of this. Be proud of liking Jaws: The Revenge. There's nothing to be ashamed of. This is a fun time. You know, there like sometimes, or not, maybe a lot of times, and for me too, like it's not always easy to find fun things out there in the world, and sometimes things can be really stressful. Sometimes things can be really even get you down and maybe feel down in the dumps. And I've had those moments rather recently, in fact. And just trying to get over these feelings and just feeling blue and feeling down, that's it's not always easy to do things, and it's not always easy, so to find something in your own life, in your own journey, in your cinema journey that you are really into and that you enjoy. If it's a film, like, I don't know, like if it's a film in the Criterion Collection, or if it's a film that's released by the great people at Arrow or Kino or Jaws: The Revenge, embrace it, go for it, love it, right? Because, as I say, we need these things to have fun in our lives, or to remind ourselves that we like things that make us happy. If watching Jaws: The Revenge is one of those things, good for you. Be proud of it. As and if you run into some situations where maybe you say, "Oh, I love Jaws," and people kind of have a maybe separate take. That's okay too. People can have a separate take and a negative take on it. That's fun. There's nothing wrong with that, my dear friends. But if ever you want to have a conversation with me on this channel, if you say, yeah, I love Jaws: The Revenge, I am there with you, my friends. Come on, come on. You are welcome anytime, anytime. I'm there. So, yes, great stuff. So thank you so much. Thank you. Um, And let's see, Paul is here, Paul B. So have a great night. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. It's nice. And you too, my friend. Thank you. And Zyrother says, "Love and enjoy what you want. Never let anyone else tell you what to like." Yes, and also that's very important too, which is something that I've picked up a lot doing this YouTube channel. Which is there's nothing wrong too with of being told by someone else that they don't like that film. There's nothing wrong with that as well. That don't let that. If anything, being told by someone else that they don't like a film that you like, that is a great opportunity to think about the film again and to maybe reaffirm that you like the film or to maybe reassess how you feel. So there's no problem at all with this type of exchange of opinions or something. Even if you have this maybe negative takes are very important and very healthy. But if you want to talk to someone who really enjoys this film, I enjoy this film, and I know a number of people enjoy this film very much. You can come by anytime at all. So anytime. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live stream series, which is, I try to choose films for topics for live stream discussions that I, for one reason or another, are really into. Maybe I was a kid growing up or something, so I was really into. So we can have a good time. And I feel that way about all four Jaws films, all four of them, including Jaws: The Revenge. So, that's why I did this. That's why I wanted to do this. So, um, let's see. J M Eola. As a kid, I enjoyed Jaws 3D. It was mind blowing. Yes, yes. I spoke about Jaws 3D in a live stream discussion last week. I had so much fun with that. That's wow, wow. Wow, um, wow. Yeah. These are great films. These are such great films. I love it. Yeah. Great, great. And you say nostalgia is so powerful. Yes, it is powerful. It is very powerful. And it's amazing too how that can translate into one's modern day viewing or contemporary viewing. It is nostalgia for me. It's not just nostalgia though. It is nostalgia that is an important part, but it's interesting to how the nostalgia feelings then translate into how I view it in like my age and experience and point in life right now. So it's both things for me in my own personal journey. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely, it is a very powerful thing. Yes. It's love the channel. Found you via Mr. Pin. Aaron Pin. Aaron Pin he is the legend. He is the legend. What is it? GOAT goat. Oh, Aaron Pin. Like I cannot hold a candle to him and his mind is like I wish I could like figure out how his mind works because the way he's able to store all that information about everything, it's it's incredible, absolutely incredible. I marvel how is he able to know all this. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. So great stuff. Thank you so much. um, Um, let's see. Damien P says, I had a film professor that could not understand how I could enjoy Wells and the lower rungs of horror. A shame. A shame. That's okay. Whatever. All things to all people, or, right? What's the phrase? What does George Martin say in the Beatles anthology when he talks about the White Album, how he thought it should have been a really good single album rather than being a large sprawling double album. And he says he doesn't like it as much as other people might, but as he says, horses for courses. That's what George Martin says. And then Paul McCartney says, well, yeah, maybe this is too long, but yeah, it's the Beatles' Bloody White Album. Shut up, So it's like that feeling. So yeah, whatever, yeah. Um, yes. Oh yes, and I remember I had the great honor of interviewing Aaron Pin on this channel. It's one of my favorites, and I said at the end, it's like I said thank you, Aaron Pin, but I said it in the way that was trying to mimic the Friday the 13th music, because it was around the time that the Friday the 13th set from Shout Factory, Scream Factory was released. That behemoth set. So I said thank you, Aaron Pin, but I said it in the you know, it was like, so I said, and he got it immediately. He got the joke immediately. So I was like, oh yes, he got it. He got it. So wonderful. So, oh, so that was I was great. And I wanted to. I've been meaning to ask him for a follow up to see if he wanted to talk about Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. But we'll see. So we'll see. Um, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh yes. So. Are we good? Are we good? Are we gonna go soon? Oh gosh, it's like is this the end? Is this the end? Oh gosh, is this the end of the Jaws? Um, uh, is this the end, or as they say in one of my favorite Simpsons episodes, is this the end of zombie Shakespeare? So yes, I guess it's the end. We'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. But thank you so much, my dear friends, for sticking with these live streams, both Jaws live streams and before. I'm having such a fun time with these. Thank you for letting me in with with these opportunities to talk about these films and share some moments from childhood and beyond. Thank you so much for that and for sharing with me your thoughts about these in the live chat and elsewhere. The comments, so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Um, and so we will continue. The next series of discussions I want to have is on Superman, the Superman movies, starting with, so it's the Christopher Reeve Superman film. So Superman the movie, Superman 2, and also discussion on the Richard Donner version, and then Superman 3, and then Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. So that's the cycle of discussions that I'm planning for next time. I don't know what the schedule will be. It might be, you know, it's maybe next month or something. I don't know. I want to do it as soon as possible. Just give me a little bit of just a little bit of time to set those up. I am also doing the 31 days of gangster films and police films. I hope it's okay. I do have some Criterion videos I have uploaded. I haven't released them publicly. They're up there. I'm waiting for the right time to push the public button on that. But there's that. But the 31 days, the next two videos will be made public as soon as I finish this. So I hope. What day are we on? Are we on? Was it day? Is it day 20 or 21? 22? I forget. So we're almost at the end of 31. The 31 days. So I hope those are your I hope those videos are okay for everyone. So, um, let's see. Yes, thank you. Please include the Bronx. The Bronx. You mean a Bronx Tale? A Bronx Tale. So, um, yeah, yeah. Check out the discussions. It might or might not appear. So, I hope that my list doesn't disappoint. So. Anyway, yes, my dear friends, thank you so much. Until we meet again, right? Please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Really, I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be able to do this channel without you. Really, I would not be able to do this channel at all. At all. It would have been just right, unless without your great kindness and support all the way, all the time. Thank you. Yes, this time it's personal. Yes, indeed, for me. This time it's personal. Personally, I feel indebted to you, my dear friends, for all that you do for me and for everyone. So thank you. Yes, indeed. Jaws the Revenge, this YouTube channel, everything. This time it's personal. It has been and always will be. And I hope it remains that way for many years to come. This time it's personal, my friends. And for that, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you at the next one.